practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimilla, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I am your host, Adam Dunn. We're only a few minutes late today, not too bad. I got some people coming in. We got Susan Squibb coming into the studio. She's not here yet either, so we'll just have to ease into this one. We've got calling in a little while later. I'm going to have Jonathan Braveman, calling in. I'm going to have Jim Freire, as you probably noticed on the announcement, former guest who warned us all years ago about things that are happening now, not necessarily exactly the same things that are happening now, but in the same sphere, we should say. I think right now we have a lot of bullshit going on is what I think. But we will also have, who else we got checking in? Anybody? I don't know. Who knows? You never fucking know. We don't know any. I don't even know what the hell is happening on the show till the day before, and if I do, it never happens. So there you go. That's how these things roll. Right. Let's have a little chat before while we're waiting for Susan to come in. Might even do the shout-outs before, just because I know once the discussion starts with this one, it's going to be hot and heavy because right now a lot of people are realizing that things are completely getting the rug is getting pulled out. You know, you can take the mother's high tea off. She ain't here.
Okay. I was about to do that.
Just about to do that. You know, don't waste those incredible graphics that we put together. High quality. High quality. Emphasis on the word high.
High. Yeah, mainly high.
Yeah. So before we jump into all of that, let's talk about some other stuff that's going on in the canna world right now.
Canna world.
So you pulled up something earlier,
right?
About universities. Was about universities and studies and research.
I was going to bring it up last week, but we didn't really have a chance to bring it up. But basically, it's an article from NPR saying that researching medical marijuana could soon get easier, as researchers are hoping to study marijuana for scientific and medical purposes. They're one step closer to expanding their limited supply of the plant. And let's see. So it looks like they are going to allow more colleges to grow marijuana for research purposes.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's going to be like there's so much research that should have been done the last 75 years or so and hasn't been done or was always done and biased. I mean, that was the thing. Every single cannabis study that was done was, well, not every single one, I should say, but a good high 90s was always the negative, looking for the negative. Right. And if they found anything positive, bury that shit. You know what I mean? Like in 72 is when they purposely tried to give as many, they were figuring like they were going to pump up all these rats with so much THC that they were just going to be these like giant festering cancer balls, right? Yeah. And then they had the rats that they purposely gave the cancer. They had the rats that didn't have. They had and then they had the ones that they induced later. And so but in the end, the ones that they gave the maximum amount of THC to had lived longer than the rats that didn't have cancer. So they were like, well, that's fucked up. What are we going to do about that? That doesn't make any sense, you know? I was like, huh? What do you mean it's longer than the other ones? It's like, yeah, it was kind of like, fucking made them like super rats. I don't know. So in a way, yeah. Now that was in 72. They should have fucking pursued that one, right? They'd be like, hey, somehow this is like, even if it's not curing the cancer, it's definitely making them, deal with it better.
Right. Totally. But yeah, this is, it just marijuana stands as a Schedule 1 controlled substance, which is reserved for drugs with no accepted medical use, which we know is all bullshit, has hindered scientific research into its clinical applications.
My head is a moon now, bro.
I know, man.
You made my head, like, I'm literally
a part of your moon there.
I am moon head.
You're
moon
like
head.
the third moon phase there.
I'm the third phase of the moon.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope looking.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it is interesting because it's one of those things where, you know, and also, like, I've listened to doctors or, you know, seen people saying that they would have to go through so much rigmarole to get cannabis to study, and when they got it, it was that Mississippi bullshit weed that was, like, disgusting and, like, really, we're going to test this? This means this has, and again, so all that information would be absolutely useless because it doesn't make any sense to what's actually out there.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to, like, announce anything because it's kind of insider info, but I've heard of some crazy situations happening now in big cannabis with these Canadians and all sorts of different groups that they're so overextended and everybody's overpromised, and there's so much, like, the amount of money required just to operate some of these things is getting to the point where it's not feasible, you know? And, it's going to be interesting to see because, like, I think that everybody thinks bigger and doesn't fail, you know what I mean? But definitely in the cannabis world, like, the biggest thing in the cannabis world is still small compared to other industries, you know what I mean, at this point in time. Maybe not for long, but definitely at this point in time. So I think this is going to be a kind of a funny year. I think 2020 is going to be the most interesting year for a lot of reasons. One is we're almost at the maximum amount of states. You know, I do sound like a Muppet. Come on, a little bit. I have to sound a little bit.
I was like, sounds like a Muppet. I don't know
what the fuck are you talking about? How do I not sound like a Muppet? But yeah, I think this is going to be the year of failures and major failures, like the biggest failures in history, of course, because as we move forward, it's always the biggest, right? But this is going to be that, like, all right, you've had X amount of time, 2 years, 3 years, people have already signed deals, contracts have been done, there's things that should be done, you know, and nobody's hitting those numbers, you know what I mean? Whether maybe a few people because they figured out how to start off slow, but for the most part, most people are going to be like, yeah, we can do 3 pounds of light and we're going to do this, you know, promising the world, and then, you know, a couple rounds of russets and fucking root aphids and fucking reality checks and all sorts of other things that could possibly go wrong.
Sure.
You know, now they're like, oh shit, maybe we didn't hit that ridiculous number we set for ourselves. But I have a feeling that the whole industry is going to be shooken up this year in more ways than one. That's my prediction, my Nostradamus.
Your Nostradamus prediction.
So, well, the elephant in the room, of course, this whole show, technically, besides the Mother's High tea, of course, because we're not going to, they don't do, it's not Mother's High vapor tea yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
But it's crazy how much press the whole, this whole vaping situation, Vapegate, or whatever you want to call it. I think we actually have a name for it now, right?
What, Vapocalypse?
The Vapocalypse, exactly.
Yes.
And the Vapocalypse was, which I don't know if I coined it or not, but I thought of the other day because I was thinking to myself, holy shit, this is really going to destroy the industry, you know what I mean, as fast as it can. And right now, I mean, if you watched the show last week, you saw Travis from Beatworks here where we're at. I mean, his whole world got torn upside down because it's not about it's like now all of a sudden it's being taken into this next level where they're looking for 20-fold on the insurance, you know. So it's like, to imagine when you're paying $1,000 a month premium and then they want you to pay $20,000 a month. It's like, oh man, I don't think that's going to work out. And then on top of that, think of all the vape shops that there are out there. I mean, I was thinking about the other day, I was driving about 60 miles from here down to Elbert, and you just pass at every single mall.
Dude.
Every single mall
has
got a vape shop. Like, if it doesn't have a vape shop, it's completely closed down mall. Like, because most of them are like about halfway there.
I live in Aurora, and every strip mall, there is one vape shop in every strip mall. It's crazy.
Has to be. And, a couple of years ago, that was like, people were kind of questioning if they could open them. And all of a sudden, it's like they're everywhere. And it's interesting, too, because it's like I think the people that are deep in cannabis, everybody, got a pen or something along the way. Mm-hmm. And pretty much, like, I would never, like, take anybody else's cartridges anyway. It'd always be just to do your own thing. But, the reality is when we were first sort of figuring it out, you're like, hey, these things would be expensive if you do it right. You know what I mean? Like, you already knew from the beginning, like the amount of terps you want to put in to make it keep it fluid, to make it all work, becomes not so cost effective. You know what I mean? Tastes great.
Right.
Tastes great. All of it works. Doesn't burn black. Doesn't feel like it's any carcinogenic thing going on. Because that's the thing. You can tell when, like, the few times that I'll try other people's things just because you're there, it's like, whatever, let me try it. You're like, sure. And I don't think anybody has been, using the worst cuts possible like they are now. But in the beginning, you could just tell, like, when somebody put something, any kind of cut, instantly it was garbage. Like, there was no effect whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because you could just start calculating, like, one cartridge of that is equal, like, one of my cartridges that I'm making myself is like 8 of those, probably. You know what I mean?
Totally. Absolutely, man.
And so that's like...
Yeah, the first time I encountered a pen was like 2014, I think, or something like that. When it first went legal, or probably 2012, something like that. But it was all those O-pens, and they're all like propylene glycol.
Yeah, and the
hurt my throat, and it was just terrible, man. It wasn't. Of
course,
cool. I wasn't into it. It didn't really even get you high by the end of it.
No,
you know what I mean? Because
no, of course it didn't.
It was all just the glycol at the end, and it was like, yeah.
No, of course it didn't. And every drug out there that's been stepped on. Mm-hmm. And that was the beauty of cannabis up until a point for everybody. Even in Holland, though, like Holland, because there's so much wholesale and people, selling basically like between like 50 and 100 packs, but none of those people smoking weed or caring about weed, then and funny enough, it was mostly going to England that it was started, from what I remember. Germany didn't want to have... Germany's like one of those countries where if the cannabis is selling for, $2,000 a kilo, they want to pay $2,000 a kilo, because they're right there. They know the price, and they're very difficult and tight. English would just buy everything they could buy, just fill it up.
Right.
And then so in a way, it was like, for the most part, it seemed like Germany, to Germany and to that direction, they weren't as stepped on as much. But the ones going to England, and it was actually English guys who had a company called Brix. And Brix is like the sugar, basically the sugars that are readable in the plant when you get a Brix meter and you can check out how much sugar you have in your plants. But it basically tells the health of the plant. But it's also like these guys took it out of context and basically sold this product called Brix, and it was like going to add weight to your plants. And the instructions were, right before you chop, you spray this stuff on, you let it dry, and then you chop it down. Then you dry the stuff out, and it adds the exact weight that's in your hand. Like, you look at the product, it's 16 ounces, so it's a fucking pound. I'm going to spray that 16 ounces onto 5 pounds, 6 pounds, or whatever. And you're not going to lose a gram of that product because it doesn't go away, right? And so...
Wow, I never even heard about this.
Right, and these are the English guys doing it to their own product, right? They basically invented it because they figured it out themselves, and then they started selling it. And I was like, really? Like, the fuck? Like,
Right.
so then I started looking for, so I was already on the, kind of on the watch for that. And then what you noticed was, because there's so many people involved that don't consume themselves, they don't think about the health of their people that they're, selling it to. Some places, I mean, you very rarely saw it in coffee shops, because they, those people deal with these guys every day, and it's like they're not just buying off random people as much. They kind of have to keep an eye. Occasionally it pop up, but all the export shit. And so again, it was like, if you don't have your customer in your face and you're not dealing with them, like, you wouldn't see this in a dispensary, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like the scare shit that is going to be the next stuff, because it's already like, this is with, right now we're talking about with cartridges that nobody knows really what's in them until you have them tested. And there's so much like quasi legit shit, you know what I mean? Like, could be legit intentions, but then they could totally fuck it all up by the preparation. Anyway, but when it comes to cannabis, if you start spraying to add weight, then you're just a douchebag right out of the gate, obviously.
Totally. Yeah,
But the problem is, there were so many people that were like, there was a trend in Holland where it was like, oh, we'll buy it fresh, straight on the stalk, right? And so it was like, they'd give you about a fifth of what they'd give you normally. So if it was, $2,000 or whatever, then they'd give you $400, and then so then but you wouldn't have to trim it. But they wanted it like that, because then they would take it home, spray it with that stuff, which you're already fucking it up, because technically you're supposed to spray it, even though you're not supposed to spray it all. But by the instructions, you're supposed to spray it before you put it on, before it's dry. And so this is like taking it on some half-assed, sloppy-looking weed, spraying it with something that it's not a good time, because it doesn't dry on the plant. It's drying up. And then, so then it went from that product, which people actually had to buy the product, to people going like, why would I don't need to buy that product. I can put this on there, or that on there.
Right.
And so people were just doing like everything. There was a moment in time where it was just, and I wasn't really buying other people's weed, but I was getting a lot of people that were bringing me something like, what do you think about this? And I'd be like, well, first of all, it doesn't make sense, because what you're holding is about 1/4 pound's worth of weed, but you're telling me it's a kilo. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's like, that doesn't make any sense. It's like, what do you mean? It's like a little like a small Nerf football instead of a big football. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a huge difference right there.
Yeah.
And then everything weighs a lot. And then, so I made a real simple test, which all it required was hot water. So you take two glasses.
Yeah.
And then you would take a bud, the suspect weed and your own weed. So you pull your own weed out, drop it into one cup, pull out the suspect, whatever you want to check, and put that in there, and then just wait, do a dab or a bong hit or something, and wait a little bit, and you'll see within a minute or so, once it soaks up a little bit, if there's particulates falling off of it, then it's been rolled in some bullshit, or something's gone. They put something physical on there, because that shit will just fall out in the water, right? And if there's a oil stain on the top, then they sprayed it with some fucking bullshit, like some oil stuff.
Yeah.
And anybody who ever sprayed like neem oil later in their crop or whatever. Let's see what we got. Welcome to the Adam Dunn Show. Who we got?
Johnny B.
Hey, Johnny B. Calling in. There he is. The angry guy.
What's up, bro?
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just hanging in the studio, and actually crazy. And I mean, we were just talking about, like, the main business at this studio that we're at is vape pens. You know what I mean? So they're they're like throwing the towel. I'm like, what? No, don't. But
it's really pissed me off. Because I own a smoke shop and we do a huge amount of e-cig business, and it's just not realistic what they're preaching out there. I mean, if it was e-cigs, we would have seen this in 2005 when they started in the United States.
Yeah, and well, first of all, to see like how quickly Congress got together and decided that this is the most important thing in the fucking world
All of a sudden.
because 5 people died.
Yeah.
When we have some other much more important shit to get to before that, and then again, like it was almost like every fucking time, without knowing what they're talking about, they're going to go after the wrong thing and not help anything. And you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I mean, I'm not a big flavor guy. I'm not thinking we should, I think flavors suck. They should be taxed really, really high so people use less of them maybe. And you can, I don't know, that would be cool, but not you wouldn't like that. But in general, I don't like them. I think they suck, but they shouldn't be illegal. You know what I mean? There's people can do what the fuck they want, especially because that's not the problem, right? Like you were saying. You would have seen it.
No, I mean, that stuff's not even an ingredient in the e-cig juice, which is amazing to me. And like they show all these pictures of these, you know, shitty fake carts, you know, the dank carts, and those aren't even the cartridges that e-cig juice goes into. It's just very evident to people who know what's going on that they're full of shit.
Well, I mean, the key is that, and it's kind of shitty too, because in my opinion, the way this whole thing is rolling out is like you see how they're kind of going after weed, right? Because they're making a point of saying, well, it's not, even though they're saying that some of it came from an actual, from a dispensary, but for the most part, it's because they want to crack down on home guys filling up their own cartridges, obviously. Like that's going to become next public enemy number one, you watch. Like, and at the end of the day, it's not... It's just like growing weed, where you're sitting there with your 50,000 cartridges in your boxes behind you, or a million cartridges, and you know you had to pay for them to come in from China, and the paperwork's there somewhere, and they just at some point they're gonna fucking visit all these people who have bought, you know, a million cartridges in the last 6 months or whatever, and start doing big stings. I believe, you know, I just think I see this is gonna be like, oh, we found it. Like there's always a bad part of the whole thing, right? And so it won't be like, I can't see them making, you know, vape things illegal in general, but definitely the as far as the inputs and stuff, because where do those things come from anyway? They come from China, so obviously some nasty.
Yeah, the cartridge itself, but I mean, it seems like the problem is this cutting agent, you know, with vitamin E.
Well, that's, yeah, and that is the actual, I mean, that is the crux of the whole thing. It's like, okay, so, yeah, don't put the wrong thing into this burning deal and smoke it, because at the end of the day, you know, we don't need it if you're growing proper product that has
right.
And that's the good part about it is, you know, not everything works, right? Like when you're playing around with different genetics, sometimes you get stuff like our buddy Squatch. He's got some stuff that some of his Vulcan Death Grip. He's got a few that they just won't turn. The THC won't do nothing. You know what I mean? There's like just stays terpy as fuck, but it works great for pens. You know what I mean? You just pour that shit, boom, in, and you're straight to the fucking source, and there's no the flavors there. It burns all the way clean, right to the very last bit, and you know, but it's not cost effective. It's expensive as shit. You know, you're like that.
Dude, just think how much good they could do if they created the same mass hysteria about opioids and tobacco.
Well, look at the. I mean, again, the numbers. It's like, okay, so 500,000 every year from this thing. We're talking about that. 50,000.
Yeah, and they got to replace those customers every year.
50,000 from opioids plus and gaining every year. But now we're going to go after something that's like, you know, to the point where it's in every single gas station and there's, you know, shops everywhere doing it, and yet there's only 5 cases. And again, that is the biggest problem, is that because it is, well, maybe it isn't, but it is probably stupid people putting vitamin E in cannabis carts, and because they're all kind of condensed in little areas too, right? So it's not like it's nationwide even. It's sort of a few states.
I just wonder,
Mm-hmm. We lose him?
It shows that he's still here right now.
The man's got him. The man is getting him. They're like,
Wait.
oh,
Uh-oh.
the vape lord.
You back?
Are you there?
I'm here. I'm here. You there?
Okay.
Yeah, we lost you for a second. So you.
No, I heard you the whole time.
Oh, well, I didn't hear you. You're supposed to. You said I wish, and then I said go ahead, and you were just like silence. Tell me.
What was I wishing?
I don't know. You had a big wish. You had a major wish.
Big major wish.
Shit. Stoner moment.
Oh man.
Uh-oh.
Oh Jesus.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Tell me about.
It's just been super frustrating to do. I mean, I'm not like an activist type person, but
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us about all your little, because I know you contacted news and a few other people, and they were all like, "Whoa, this guy is pissed. This is we have one pissed customer on the line."
yeah. So I'm just really mad about this fake news because it's the first time that I think personally it's affected me, like with my business, but. I know the truth is.
You're like kids in cages, whatever. Big deal. What? E-cig flavors. Fucking now they're fucking getting my guns out. Getting my guns.
They're after us, bro.
I know. Oh man, I can see you. I can already see. I can see Mr. Braveman ready.
Oh, I've been fuming.
Did you get a response back from the news guys after that second one? That you sent
I
out?
have actually. The local Phoenix News I've had several talks with, and it was neat because you can just tell they don't know what about this whole illegal tart thing or anything about tarts for that matter. They vaping is a term, is a verb, not a noun, and they use it every time they use the word vaping. People automatically think e-cigs, but they need to specify exactly what is being vaped. Vaping is an activity, It's like for example, if you ever heard of a person dying from too much tea, it's because you drink it. If you had to smoke it, there'd be deaths from it because you're putting all that shit into your lungs, same as tobacco.
Right.
But it's I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely using the wrong product for the job there. And if you're gonna, and I was saying earlier on the show when you right before you called, like in Holland, do you remember when they were putting all the bullshit in there, in the bullshit in the weed in Holland?
What were they putting in?
Oh well, I was telling a story, and I can finish. I'll continue a little bit with a few things. It started off with this product called Brix, which was actually made in England by some guys who realized, hey, if you spray some shit on your plants right before you harvest, and it's not like that bad, and it doesn't really affect, because they were kind of like looking into it and trying to make a thing that was benign in some way, shape, or form, But so then everybody who used that product was like, well, why the fuck do I got to use that? I can just use anything, right? So then it just started going down the list. And I saw everything from one that I thought was creative, which was a bunch of Moroccan guys took dried peas, and it was green. They were green, because I think that in their minds it was green. Like they didn't really know that the glands are more shiny and amber, because they were just thinking like weed, green. Go to the corner store, grab something, grind it all up. We're going to spread it out. And they started sprinkling it on all the weed there. And a friend of mine who was out slinging and shit, he'd come in, English kid, always cracked me up. And he's like, check it out, mate. Fucking Incredible Hulk weed, right? And he like puts it on the table, and like this green powder falls off, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that? He's like, it's the latest, mate. Oh, it's fucking. I'm like, no, dude, this is the end of this is it. This is like, cannabis is done. Like once you have to start worrying about people putting extra bullshit on your cannabis is when you have a fucking major problem. And so it became quite a major problem in like around 2008 or 9. It was like the peak. Right about when I left, and I'm sure it kept going, but for the most part, it was like stuff was getting stepped on 3 times before it got to the customer. Not in Holland, but in like England, for sure. Like people, and then at the end, they were even putting. And this is when it got really dangerous. Like they were taking fluorescent lights, and they'd break off one end, and they'd sprinkle the fucking mercury dust from the insides of the bulbs because it was super heavy. Like its molecular weight was super heavy, and it was shiny. And then guys were smoking weed in England and bleeding from their mouth, like literally cutting up the insides of their throats and stuff. And it was like, that is the worst thing I can imagine, you know what I mean? And just the fact that that's how low it had gotten, you know? So it's tough. It's like, and that's cannabis, you know what I mean? And that's what blew my mind. And I was saying earlier that I would test it by taking 2 glasses of hot water. I'd throw my weed in one and their weed in another. I'd show them how my weed nothing happened. It just grew, got fat, you know, blows up at the top and kind of floats around. Theirs would usually particles would fall off or oil stains would kind of come to the top of the surface. And I'd be like, I don't know what this fucking oil that's coming off of your shit is, but I don't know what this little things at the bottom of the cup are.
Wow.
And then they'd be like, oh, okay. And so when it goes into a cartridge that you can't open up and it just has to look like a certain color and consistency is how people who don't give a fuck think, and they're like, whoa, well, look at that. Vitamin E. I'm a genius, dude. Look at this vitamin E. It's like, oh my God, it's like cutting Coke with fucking, you know, like powdered sugar, and you're just like, dude, you could have picked a better thing than that. You know, that's not supposed to be taken that way, you know what I mean? Or, you know, just, and then, and this is even more dangerous because it's like, when it comes to inhaling stuff in a vapor situation or a sublimation or whatever you want, you know, however you want to describe it, it's never really burned. It doesn't disappear. It literally just, it's almost like it travels from A to B. Like, oh, here it is in this thing, now it's in your lungs. You know what I mean? And you know that's how it works because you clean your rig and you see how that shit there's no burning, you know what I mean? So it's right. That's the scary part.
I think we're going to see a lot more people come down with this sickness in the next few months, as these carts keep circulating out there. There's just bazillions of them out there. It's crazy. You see that 20-year-old kid in Wisconsin yesterday got busted with 30,000 of them?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's going to be the next.
Jesus Christ.
Right, but that's like, I mean, we're sitting in a room right now with 100,000 of them. So it's like, hey, come and get me. No, but you know, but in general, it is it's going to be the next like easy victim thing, you know, because it's going to be like, and everybody wants to promote all their shit, and it's easy to follow the you know the packaging. Basically, you leave a literal trail back to the lab. So
you can go, you know, you buy all this. You can buy all the fake packaging on Alibaba. It's all the same packaging.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts how people are so easy to believe a brand, and now it's gotten to the point where there's probably like 9-to-1 fakes against real. You know what I mean? Like, I think your chances of actually getting a real cart on the East Coast
Russian cart roulette.
Yeah, I think you have a 1 in 10 chance of getting it. Yeah, so
that should scare people away from it, though, I hope.
Yeah. So what's your take on, like, as far as how many companies you think are going to drop out right out of the gate with this whole thing?
Well, I mean, Honeycut itself, I think it's called California Laboratories. I mean, their website's already down. There were 3 others, I guess, that went dark already. So I think they're running for cover. But as far as like the e-cig people, I think they're going to put up a real good fight here once, you know, because it's not the e-cigs. It's not. It's simple. And I think, you know, hopefully that truth will get out. But with all this fake news shit, I question whether the truth can ever get out anymore. It's really weird. Really weird. But yeah, I'll tell you what, when they disprove the bullshit about e-cigs, it's gonna skyrocket again. You watch. Once they figure this out and everybody realizes it's not the nicotine stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's gonna be definitely people right now playing the game of like, I'm investing a couple $100,000 in fucking all the flavors possible and just sitting on that shit because that's just gonna be. People can be dying for it. They'll be like, just give me the fucking bubblegum flavor, man. I need it. I need the bubblegum flavor.
I made a joke yesterday. I was like, 6 months from now, hey, who do you get your e-juice from? And the reply is, same guy I used to get my weed from when it was illegal.
Right.
There's a secondary issue that's kind of forming where, I don't know, they're concerned about teenagers using vapes. And,
Well, I mean that. Okay, so here's
What's
my.
the alternative? So they'll go back to smoking cigarettes.
Well, here's my take on
or
that
they'll
though
turn
too.
they'll start smoking cigarettes.
It seems pretty convenient that this
Exactly.
shit happened so fast. Like, that never happens this fast. So you know that there was lobbyists involved. You know it's tobacco who's saying, like, okay, we want to conform slightly with your ways, which is going to be their like Juul, for instance. I mean, they immediately said, okay, we'll take away all the flavors, no problem, we'll do that, we'll fall in line. And so they want to be like the poster child of the e-cig world, where even though they're the ones that were pushing it the hardest and got everyone hooked on it right out of the gate, you know what I mean? So all the Juul, I mean, all those, that's like the youngest kid. Most of the kids are smoking those Juuls. They're not going into a shop and buying e-juice and doing all that. They're just trying to fucking fit in with their friends and use the most, slick whatever product. But I have a feeling that like companies like Juul are like aligned so tightly now with Big Tobacco, because they're going to do all the carts from the different companies, so you can get like your fucking Marlboro this or your fucking Camel that or whatever. So it's all trying to, and so I think they just want to, I don't think they want to have shops like your shop or any shop that can sell like wholesale cut rate cut. No, but not really cut rate.
Do it yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to become like, because that's their big, like, now that's more of a danger to the youth than weed was, for instance, because now it's blueberry, it's true, it's like in tropical punch flavored
Snozberry.
nicotine. And that's the word. I mean, that to me it is sucky, because it is like, yeah, whenever I see people smoking that stuff, it's like, if they're older than like 20, I'm like shaking my head, like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you smoking a pina colada flavored, gigantic, ridiculous, triple coiled 15-pound battery fucking thing? You know what I mean? Like, how old are you? Like, it's like, and you can see they're fixated. Those people are like, they are truly addicted to that product, because it's all about.
Hey, I'll tell you the truth though. I mean, I haven't had a cigarette in 13 years. I quit 13 years ago.
Awesome.
And then I went right from smoking to those lozenges, those Nicorette suckers, and I got addicted to those. So, like, I've been addicted to nicotine forever, but I haven't had a cigarette in 13 years. It's just weird, and you feel a million times better than when I smoke cigarettes. So I'm a true believer that these e-cigs are a million times safer than a real cigarette. There's no combustion. You're not ingesting vegetative matter. Same with weed. I mean, kind of,
Do you
But there's
still
way
do
more
the
chemicals
lozenges?
on-
Did you still?
No. I have an e-cig that I use, a little bit.
65 times a day, about, on average, something like that. 60, 70 times.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
But you feel better. You feel better. Compared
I feel
to
way better, and I still get my nicotine fix. So it's same as like coffee. I mean, nicotine and caffeine are pretty equal as far as danger and addiction goes.
I can't be a hypocrite, but we do not condone. We're not here to tell everyone tobacco rocks, for sure, or any nicotine, for that matter, because for me, nicotine is the stupidest thing you could. I don't know what was wrong with you, Jonathan. Why did you smoke cigarettes when you?
Yeah.
How tall would you have been? That's what I
how
want to know.
did you start?
Because you definitely must have started smoking when you were like 4 or something like that. So
4.
No, but I mean, I started smoking cigarettes in high school. I mean, kind of like everyone does, and
I didn't.
I was so glad to get off them, but I still like that nicotine. I feel it's not bad if it's not delivered to you through tobacco, through combusting tobacco. Just like caffeine isn't that bad for you through drinking tea or coffee. It's just the delivery method is bad.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, it is one of those. It's like nicotine is like fucking. You use it to kill bugs. So it's like, all right, if it kills bugs, what the fuck is it doing? That's not really good. Like, that's not a good thing, is it? So
Well, bugs are tiny.
Yeah.
I saw a list of vegetables last night and how many milligrams of nicotine are in them, like cauliflower and tomatoes. They naturally have nicotine because it's the plant's natural insecticide.
Huh.
So there's all kinds of
Wow.
plants that. Yeah, it was
So you
interesting.
smoking
I didn't even
cauliflower
realize
now? Is that what you're
Yep.
trying to say?
it. Cauliflower
That's
light.
the next. That's the cauliflower vape.
Yeah, vape.
Yeah.
Brah. Brah.
But that was interesting to me.
So
But
the
yeah, I mean,
I was gonna say the majority of your customers that come in though, they are older people or
Yeah. What's
well,
the
we card
demographics?
we card everybody, so they can't purchase if they're under 21 anyway.
I was 21. That's
Wow,
it.
you know,
21. huh?
That's another good question. How are these young kids that aren't even of legal age to work or buy this stuff? How are they getting it?
Right.
I blame bad parenting. You know, when I got caught smoking when I was young, my dad kicked my fucking ass.
So now we're gonna
And
make
I
them.
didn't
Now we gotta
smoke
make them
again.
eat. Now you gotta eat the cartridge or something like that. Like, or smoke,
Yeah.
or you
So
should
they
like
get
tape
sick.
tape 6 of them together and make them just like suck on that. Here you go. There's 6.
Yeah.
Get down.
Same with it.
Don't leave this
same with-
room till these things are dead. Till these batteries die.
Yikes.
You know.
Same with ADHD. My dad would put his foot in my ass, and I'd pay attention. And that's the way I feel about that.
Woo.
So we're too soft. We're too soft.
All right. Well, thanks for weighing in. We're gonna actually have a at the end, like later, about an hour from now, we're gonna have Jim Freire calling in. So if you want to call back, Jonathan, during that discussion, we can chop it up a little
Who's
more. Jim Freire, you'll just listen. Go back. Actually, you should go back and listen to. Just look up his name on Adam Dunn Show, and you can listen to him talking about lipid pneumonia and us. Basically, he was back in the day was warning us about taking huge dabs, and we were all smoking them too hot at the time anyway, right? So we were all
yep.
smoking gigantic, huge, hot dabs, which he was kind of looking at us like we're fucking idiots and explaining how things work at that point in time. And then nowadays, so I wanted to get he's going to be weighing in on what's going on now and
Cool.
being all scientific about it, dude. Not just like some guy who's got a shop who's pissed. He's going to just start flipping fucking tables like Jesus soon out there. Go to the market, flipping tables.
Nobody had the original leaf blower like you did, though. Just remember that.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna do
I was there.
I'm gonna
I
do
was
cauliflower
there.
leaf blowers now, just because everyone else is doing weed leaf blowers. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I was there in
Get that naked
1994.
Collie buds.
collie buds. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's flowing.
And you make pizza crust out of it too now, right?
That's right. After it'll be smoked pizza crust.
Oh, and then you can do a little like dug out like a pipe within the pizza crust, so it's like
yeah.
a dough pipe
Oh,
pizza.
you're giving me ideas.
Yeah,
You're
instead
giving
of
me
like Pizza
ideas.
Hut filling them up with cheese, we have the bong. We have the bong crust.
Bong crust.
Bong crust.
Right on. Good talking to you guys.
All right, man. Call back in, like I said, later if you want. Keep a listen. Go
I'll
listen to
try.
Jim's.
I gotta. We're harvesting here today, so I gotta go finish
Oh,
up.
like you're doing anything, dude. You're not doing anything.
I point and take videos every once in a while.
Well, that sounds about right. Okay. Well, make sure the batteries
All right,
are
bro.
charged. Peace.
Thanks. See you guys. Bye.
Bye. Well, welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you.
So I wasn't sure if I think I did tell you 5 o'clock because I just said whatever, come whenever you want, right?
Yeah.
That's
And
how
I
I-
was
that's
like,
how
I'll
I said
be
it.
fashionably
And then when you're
late.
not here, I'm like, where the hell is she? You can throw up now. You can throw the thing up.
I love the
Oh, you did?
moon.
I'm looking at
the moon.
Well, the moon was
Yeah.
it was for
Maybe
t-
it's
for
yeah,
tonight.
the whole full
Already got you
moon,
covered.
harvest moon.
It looks way better now that we're both here and it's kind of going over right into our heads. Like,
Yeah.
ding,
Yeah,
wah.
like a little halo. Oh,
Well,
you
now I'm
disappeared.
out later.
All right.
I am out. So,
Ladies
there we
like,
go.
Hey!
Gotta
Mother's
kind of-
had tea.
yeah, and there. Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
There we are.
Perfect.
Okay.
Shrink it
I'm gonna
down a little
start
bit.
Moving around.
Yep, got you moving around, so you didn't have to even
All right.
move.
Just gonna keep going.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Good to be here.
You're here to talk about this and probably a bunch of other stuff because it's always like that with us.
Yeah.
And then later I'm going to have a Jim calling in, so we'll see if you want to hang out. If you do, cool.
Sweet.
If not, you're not locked
Oh,
down.
they're now moving. Okay.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hey.
Oh yeah, now you're moving. Yeah, you get to watch yourself.
Yeah. Hi, chat room. It's Susan Squibb, Cannabis Maven. I know the cheesecake lady.
Yeah, there you go. That gives you credit right away.
That gives me
You have
some,
street cred. You have
context.
your street cred is gone up.
Yeah, I
threefold.
did.
Ding 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 ding.
I did see Jessica at Seattle Hempfest this year.
Nice.
I was there in August, the third weekend of August.
So she's all settled up northwest up there somewhere.
Yeah,
in the woods,
yeah.
hiding in the woods.
Yeah, she was just chilling backstage, and Wayward Bill was there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like a
it
old timer Colorado reunion up there.
Right. It's all. This is what you're all about, though. The reunions. You guys do once a year now or twice a year?
Once.
You did it for a little while. Try to do 2 times a year.
Oh, we just kind of for the tea. It's sort
Yeah.
of we try to do it in the spring, and then sometimes like all the elements don't come together. So then we're like, let's do it in the fall.
That's good if you got a whole year to kind of play around with it.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
So this is
This
what?
year.
This is how many now? What's
7th one.
Damn.
7th annual. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been going on.
It has.
And now
Oh
you
my
guys
goodness.
are branching out to the world of tea.
Yeah, we were doing the international tea tour, and we're going to South America and exploring the Rio de la Plata area where they're drinking and growing the yerba mate. So we're excited about that.
Amongst other teas. There's other teas down there too. You guys can.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of teas to explore in South America.
Yeah, yeah.
Some will take a week to recover. And
We'll focus on yerba mate.
okay, for now. For
Yeah,
now.
yeah, for the this tea tour.
So give us a little background on for the people who don't know, because you actually came on the last show and we talked about Mother's High, and that was a huge success, of course.
Oh yes, yeah.
Now that Cece's on board,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Cece's integral. Cece Dunn.
whips everybody into shape.
Shout out to Cece.
So soon come, I will sit for the night of her making all the passes. It's like an annual thing now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's tradition.
Making all the name badges. Yeah. Cheesecake.
They love cheesecake.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
It's like-
Josh.
Yes, Joe.
I'm pretty sure it does. I'm sure she makes all kinds of cheesecakes.
Of course it does.
We have to ask Jessica.
The pizza pipe, yes. If it existed, it would.
I got one at Hempfest. It wasn't like attached in a piece of pizza. It was like a dough that was made into a pipe.
Really?
Yeah.
So you really said that?
Yeah.
See how fast things go on the Adam Dunn show? We just
in-
invented that like
ingenious-
2 seconds ago. We thought we invented it,
Some
and now
ingenious kid
and it worked.
had it. Yeah, he was
Oh,
like
cool. There you go.
he was part of
Where is he?
a pretzel family. I think he was outside Chicago, somewhere in Illinois. And
Now
I thought it was
that's
the
a fucking
smartest
guess.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on
Pretzel.
the label, he was saying that you could just, smoke out of the pipe and then throw it in marinara sauce. And I'm like, no, don't
Well,
put that on the label.
That's kind of weird. I guess you could.
You could compost it.
I mean, you could put it in the. It wouldn't
Yeah.
disappear. You wouldn't notice
The
the slight ad. I mean, come on, you consume ash anyway. In the long run,
deep fried.
I can't believe somebody already made it. That was so quick. I was already trying to plan it in my
Yeah.
head. How would this go down? How would you make?
But yeah, I think it would be awesome to have like a stoner pizza, and then you have like a little pipe in the crust.
You're talking about like a real pipe.
Yeah, or
I like it.
or
I like
you
the
can
way
make
this
an
other kid
apple
did it.
pipe or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
You just sort of
Exactly like this kid did.
we're smoking the pizza.
Fuck yeah. I mean, because you saw like how I think isn't it Pizza Hut who does now? They only put cheese in the crust. Like you can't get a regular pizza anymore there.
Really?
Like they're forcing you. I don't know. So I saw someone who was really pissed. Like I was like, why are you going to Pizza Hut in the first place? Like that's your first problem.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
First problem. Let's go back beyond the being sad about that. how about why are you there in the first fucking place? But yeah,
Some people don't outgrow Pizza Hut, I guess.
that was like the first place that I outgrew. I would say it.
was-
quite literally.
I was
Because I remember
in-
being excited for it to come into town, and then it got there, and I was like, "This is terrible." Like, and that was in the '80s. Like,
Oh man, I loved the Book It program. I was totally motivated to read if I got pizza. Did you do that? Did they
Oh
have
yeah,
that?
I had when I grew up.
What was it?
The
It was called
Book It.
Book It.
Yeah.
So you read a bunch of books, and then you were able to eat a pizza on Friday or something like that.
Yeah, you got like a personal pan pizza.
and that just turned into Pizza Fridays for me forever.
Mm-hmm.
It was always Pizza Friday anyway.
Yeah.
That's just the norm,
Right.
at least for the most part.
Pizza. There will not be pizza at Mother's High Tea.
What kind of food is going to be at Mother's High?
So Encore Catering is putting together this amazing menu of sort of foods that are inspired by Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So like a little kind of samplers, some tapas.
Yeah.
Just-
Yep.
But not real tapas, because the real tapas come from Spain, and Spanish people
Exactly.
don't. You really open a can of worms when you start getting into the Latin culture, don't you? As far as like because there's
Who does
because
what?
you do have the Spanish background, the Portuguese background. There's like, and then they never obviously were like so fond of each other, right back in the day, and then they've colonialized different places, and those places became their own and became independent or not or whatever, and you have so much like between the Tijuana border, let's say, and the bottom of Argentina. There's a lot going on. There's a lot more than it's not one thing at all. It's
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Wait.
and then like who was there before?
Yeah.
The indigenous cultures and
well, that's the
Yeah.
most, that is the where it gets even more blurred, of course, but at the same time, the most important part of the entire thing, but we know the least amount about it, or one. We definitely don't, and even down there they don't want to, which is the crazy part. Because it's got a lot of attention, obviously, from the fires and from all that down there, but at the same time, it's always it's not like that. Well, of course, that was last week, so whatever.
right.
Now
Fire,
we're on to
what?
we're on to something else. Now we're on to vape carts. Vape carts are
Vape
way more important.
flavorings.
Way more
Get
important than the fucking than the fires down there. But no, do you did you get a lot of like because the timing, of course, was not. It's not like you guys you're not capitalizing on that. Obviously, like, hey, there's fires down, but it was already in the works to do that, and then all of a sudden that kind of came into play.
Yeah.
And that kind of gives maybe in a not in a good way, but a sort of positive push as far as people might want to open their eyes a little more, because if they really were genuinely interested in helping out, you guys gonna have any kind of like things for the relief funds or anything like that, or any groups like that you guys work with?
It was a little too hard to pull together, but we'll have some information, to talk about what the situation is, and
Right.
have some facts. But the rainforest is just slightly north of the area that we're focusing on in terms of the food and the cultures. So,
Right.
but yeah, I think that it's really important that we pay attention to what the lungs of the world is, what's going on, and I think recommending just reducing meat consumption would be helpful. You don't have to stop eating meat, but I think just making an effort to not eat it at least one day a week.
Well, now that we've set the bar so low that literally all you have to do is go to Burger King and eat an Impossible.
But I called that, man.
GMO
The
crap
more
burger.
the
Yeah.
more availability of vegan option everywhere,
Yeah.
it make it easier for schlubs like me to go ahead and replace 3 to 5 meals a week, which is what I do now. You know what I mean?
Excellent.
I try and do that.
Good.
Yeah, it is.
I've heard those Impossible burgers very gassy.
Yeah, and it's really bad. It's all soy,
Yeah.
and it's actually between the two of them, it's like so opposite, because you have the Beyond Burger and the Impossible Burger, and then the Beyond Burger, at least they use a pea protein isolate, which is at least it's more digestible, and it's also like it's not soy based, which is great, because then you're going on the full. Then you're back in the loop of, well, then it's going to be GMO, because there's no non-GMO soybeans available in the world hardly at all. You can it's like the numbers are minute compared to, and even those I wouldn't trust. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
you're like, come on.
So it's like that or dead animal. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, Yeah, but then you're in the GMO situation of like, okay, so
Right.
they got me on this, and you're trying to eat healthy, and you're trying to like, so you kind of like kills all the healthy part of it all. You're like, well, there goes that, and it's so the GMO is bad, the soy part and the GMO part, and then just the fact that they align themselves with Burger King is enough to make me go like, okay, I would have stopped eating it just for that reason alone, because I'd have been like, oh, that's really brought down the exclusiveness of this product.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think definitely changing people's eating habits is the easiest way to sort of, because if you think about how many people there are, and you start talking about 3 meals or 2 meals or 3 meals a week times a couple 100 million people, starts to become like, oh shit, we're talking like almost 1 billion a week, you know what I mean, of meals, and you're like, okay, 1 billion burgers or 1 billion, starts to add up a little bit where you're like, okay, that does make sense.
Elka, impossible gas.
Yeah, it's the most.
You haven't had gas until you've had impossible gas. Impossible burger.
Yeah, no,
it is amazing. Like just the impact, I mean, we take responsibility for making a change, and it is phenomenal. Like what you were saying of how magnified it can be, if everyone does it.
Yeah, everything when you start talking big numbers like that, everything just is like, whoa, that's shit. It's like when you do a festival and you have 300 people. It's nothing like when you have 30,000 people. All of a sudden 30,000 people, and you're like, oh shit! Like we needed, like the numbers just become way bigger in some ways, and in some other ways it's not, because the more people kind of you can sort of adjust. You have to. That's why running those kind of big operations, or whether it be a festival or any kind of, or organizing what your guys are doing, it's always like the numbers. Everything changes at a certain point. Like it's like, oh, okay, now things can just the slightest adjustment can make a huge difference. How you guys doing with sponsorship and stuff? What's your guys alignment with that?
We've got some awesome sponsors. I'll do some sponsor shout outs.
Yeah, we could talk about different groups that are
Eden Labs.
Okay, nice.
McAllister Garfield. The law firm. We also have Hoban Law Group. And Vicente Cedarberg. Awesome law groups. Stillwater.
You have to put them at the front of you always have to have all the law people right by the door. Because then if the shit goes down, you're just like, talk to them. They're right there. See the booth right in the front? Booyah, that's the ones you want to talk to.
Yeah,
I always do that.
We also have Hemp Connoisseur, Simply Pure Dispensary.
Oh, you guys got some great
Dabs Labs.
What?
Yeah, they're a woman-owned company. Incredibles.
See that? Yep. We could roll into ours, but we'll wait.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we'll wait.
White Label.
You got me all excited. It's like Pavlov's dog. We said one of the sponsors. I start ding, ding, ding.
Yep. Lucid Mood.
Who's that?
They do vapes.
Maybe.
Yep. They're doing it. They're here in Colorado.
You sure they're going to be here?
Well, they're expanding to California.
Are they doing THC or CBD or?
They do combos with different ratios.
See, that's good.
Yeah.
They might be able to hang in there then.
They've got the prettiest logo too. It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Foundations. They do insurance, so they're sponsoring the tea.
Now, what are the kind of insurance they do? Business, personal?
Yeah, business. I think they might do crop insurance.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. I think that's actually really happening, right? Mm-hmm. So you can get crop insurance for hemp now. Yeah,
I would talk to foundations.
Let's see. Mm-hmm. We just got them some serious business.
All right. MJBA, they've been doing great with media sponsorship, as well as Sensi Magazine. Agri-Science Labs, they do.
So you have Sensi Magazine and
Hemp Connoisseur, yeah.
Man, you're bringing in all the media.
Uh-huh.
So you got to put them next to each other so that they are, by the end, writing stories about each other. So you give them free.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Be more tabloid-like. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe they'll, sit down and have tea together.
Yes,
It'll
the
be
tea.
like
The tea may do
Yeah.
that.
It'll be like-
Calm them
Yeah.
from their tabloidness.
Or the yerba mate will like energize them, and yeah. But I think they'll be all friendly. Canna Advisors, they're a consulting firm. They are a returning sponsor. Medicine Man Technologies, their consulting firm. Tree Free Hemp, they're awesome. Some of the peeps behind NoCo and all of those events.
What about Medicine Man? They're just like gobbling up the whole.
Yeah, the dispensary
They gobbled up
side.
every dispensary that's
Yeah.
from here to
Yeah.
Kansas.
Yeah.
They're going for the buyouts.
Yeah, they got everybody. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I was just hearing about that this morning. Somebody called me. What do you think about that? And I'm like, I don't know. Go for it, I guess. I mean, it sucks in a way for the dreams, but maybe a lot of those people are probably happy to get out now because they've been doing it. It wears on you really hard. Like you watch, like if you, especially because we visit people in the industry. You go in 1 year, you come back maybe a year later because you're going to talk about the same thing, and you're like, wow, you guys are still like they're in the same spot. They're looking like they're like halfway, like tired.
Yeah.
In that same year they've gone through so much. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just noticed it's like one of those time frames where I think, okay, I've been doing this for almost 10 years. They started in 2009 or 2010 or something, and it was all good up until,
Some regulation.
some giant thing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
And so you get you get all that, and then it's going to be an interesting year. So and then anybody else?
Bovida.
Oh,
That might be
Bovida.
kind of controversial here. I don't know. I don't know.
I was asked recently if somebody asked if they wanted to be on the show, and I was kind of like, I don't think so. I was like, I don't think the show would be good because I would be so negative. So
Yeah.
I'm just such an anti-Boveda guy. I'm like, ugh. They just ruin your fucking week. I think I think it ruins it.
Yeah.
It's got this weird like.
See, I did it for a little bit there, right? I did it for a little bit when I didn't know any better. Before I found the Adam Dunn show. Just kidding. No, I'm messing with you. But
so I've ruined the company. They're like, Adam Dunn, he's ruined us.
no, maybe we should do a test.
Yeah, I've got samples.
Oh, I don't have to though. I don't have to
You don't
because unless
have
they've
to.
completely changed their technology and they have
Sure.
a whole new idea, it's not. The problem is that, like here in Colorado, it sucks, right? Yes, but that does not
The dry
save
climate.
the terps at all. Like it doesn't make it more. It doesn't create any. Like the thing about the whole point of the humidity and the terpene thing, you can't recreate it in that little container. It has to just be the fucking environment that you're in, right? That's like you bring it back to wherever because it's in that thing. It starts to transfer Boveda fucking jizz or whatever. I don't know, something. It's terrible, dude.
Okay.
It's
Someone
just-
was
it's all-
like, "Why don't
it's-
I haven't noticed the terps change?" Someone in the chat room. Motion to Wanderlust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like
Huh.
it. I don't like it. I don't know. I mean, I haven't noticed the terps change. Yeesh. It depends how long it sits there for, too, I guess, because I don't go through, I go through weed pretty fast, so I don't have to, like, so you don't want it just sitting around. Like, the thing is here, it's so dry
Yeah.
that it will absorb. It depends. If you're somewhere that's already kind of humid and you're overly fucking cautious and you think you need it, but I don't think you need it. I think you just need to, like, it's better just to get it dialed in so you know how to store it and just carry it in the right container, whatever you're going to put it in that seals good. And just don't over dry it if you're in a place like here, and don't fucking under if you're somewhere else because you'll never ever get it back because it just depends where you're at. That's why. So,
But do you think it's better?
But I feel
Boveda
like
is better than like people would say like put orange peels in it, or something
no,
like
well,
that.
I mean that's the thing is, I mean, we did all we did it all.
Yeah.
Tortillas, bread, orange peels.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, the tortillas. Those were the days.
It's the most delicious bag I've smoked. No, just kidding. No.
And I remember like putting I remember putting orange peels into Jamaican weed. That was pretty good. It just was kind of like super compressed stuff. And like, of course, 50% of the people didn't even like, whoa, it smells like oranges. And they'd be like, whoa, really? Oh, yeah, dude, you're right. I don't even know how that happened. And then a couple people would be like, orange peel, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I had to do it. Because the shit was just dry as fuck.
Orange peel.
It was like, it was good, but it was dry. But, I'm just like, okay, so when it comes to Boveda, I'm not going to like try to badmouth your sponsors. But I just personally, not a fan. Mm-hmm. I guess, the concept is great and it's good for people who are really like, don't get it. But I think it's just better to dial in your drying technique.
I think it helps the bag appeal when people pull out a bud and it's still like kind of moist, you know what I mean? I think that's what it is. I think that's what I don't think it's for someone who actually cares about how it is when they're smoking it. You know what I mean? It's more of like maybe a storage type of thing, or like
Here we go. See, Integra Boost is better. What's that? Oh. Salt-based semi-porous pack steals terps. Yes, that's exactly how I feel about it.
Integra
Vegetable-based gel and sealed pack, food grade. Interesting. Integra. It's got integrity.
I never heard of that.
It's got integrity.
Integrity Farms.
Oh shit, Integra. Integra Boost. We're gonna look them up.
More shout outs.
Oh yeah, keep going.
A
Shout out.
CBD company, their product line is called My Personal Summer. It's for women. Whoa.
So all four of them that listen to the show are stoked. They're like, yes.
Yes, they make products for ladies with CBD in them. So they're their sponsor.
We have a few more than four. Mm-hmm. Secretly.
Yeah, secretly.
But the ones that I've actually said that they listen to the show, maybe 6.
Yeah. I'm in the dude zone, man. Mm-hmm. In the dude zone. We also have
Shout out to Katie out there.
Katie.
We know she's listening.
We have cannabis cameras doing the photos. And so Kim Sidwell.
Shout out to Kim.
And
awesome.
Irie Wedding and Events doing the flowers. They can do weddings. They do our flowers. It's going to be awesome. Let's say I mentioned Encore Catering with the food. The food's always a lot of fun. Encore does an awesome job.
There we go. That's actually how we started the whole conversation. It was with food. What kind of food you got?
Food.
There you go. That's how it rolls in the Adam Dunn Show. 30 minutes later, we answered the question of the food. That was some ramble.
Ramble.
Nice.
What else? Our speakers, we have attorneys. Kind of continue that theme of having lots of attorneys around.
Cool. Pack them up in the front. Yeah, have them to go up first, and then they tell them they have to stand right by the doors. In a line.
Yeah.
Line them up.
So Jessica Peck, she's an attorney. She does family law, and she's part of Jared Polis has a Colorado Behavioral Health Task Force. So she's on that in the Children's Behavioral Health Subcommittee. So she's doing important stuff, state level. She used to do a lot more kind of marijuana legalization advocacy and was like a spokesperson, kind of like Mason Tvert. But she was like a Republican soccer mom.
What do you think about Jarrett? What do you think about the whole lame asses trying to get the signatures to get him?
Get him, recalled.
Recalled.
Yeah, that was a bit ridiculous.
It was.
And I think that they didn't even turn in the signatures at all.
Well, it's just funny because it was like in down where my mom's house is. It's all
the hotbed of
Republican.
revolt.
Yeah, there was like, as I drove past the little town square there was guys out there like, sign the petition now, sign it, get rid of that guy. And I was just like, oh my god, we finally got a good. We finally got somebody good.
Yeah,
and you got to see that this is the opposition. So it was crazy.
Well, I applaud their effort. Not necessarily, I definitely don't agree with what they're doing, but I think that's one of the exciting parts about our democracy and being able to put a ballot initiative on the ballot. You can, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Right.
But it
Or
takes
you
a
can
lot
not.
more.
Or-
Yeah, it
or
takes a lot of money. And there's the formula, it kind of needs some elements to create success. So, but it's pretty fun to get mad about something and change the world, change the laws.
Yeah,
But it's-
we've been lucky to in this state to kind of like get the important ones all passed.
Mm-hmm.
Been some there's been some like things that didn't pass maybe along the way, but it seemed like recently we've just been nailing it. Like every time it's like, oh yeah, let's do that. And it was awesome to see the psychedelic part now all of a sudden being recognized, and then Colorado leading the way again. So you're like, all right, good. We're still in the running for being somewhere cool to be. Because there was a moment where I was like,
it all went to Cali.
It's kind of not here no more,
Yeah.
But Cali did
or-
exactly what Cali does, which is, over regulated themselves into a fucking nightmare and have the biggest black market, which they already had. I mean, that's the thing is they already had.
They're an export state.
Exactly. So
yeah.
there's no way an export state's going to not be able to take care of its own. So whereas, even though Colorado gets a bad rap as being a state like that, they have a hard time keeping up with their own shit. Like right now, they're short. They don't have enough weed. And I'm like, what? Like, wait a minute. So, just shows you, like, Oregon, fucking 6 years worth of weed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really, because those numbers got skewed too to make it sound way more dramatic, but they got a shitload of weed, let's say. Right? And then Cali, same thing. But here it's just because the weather is fucking tough. It's like it's not the easiest place to get big plants because it's dry. And we have
most of it's indoor too.
Yeah, and indoor to do it illegal here is ridiculous, because they got nothing but time and energy to go after that, because
well, yeah,
they already know all the legal places. They're all buttoned up. It's not like it's the boom times when everybody was in the transition phase and oh yeah, we're getting our papers are coming.
Right,
They're almost here. People ran that game.
Yeah, I think they've changed a lot of the regulations and the laws to kind of help the police enforce the illegal grows, the people are doing in houses. So, the laws have changed, so the cops were like, what the heck, we can't do anything. And that was pretty wild.
Yeah, it's
Who's I Knew Weed?
What?
In the chat room? Inu
Weed?
Inu Weed?
Oh.
Hi. They're saying hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Yeah, wave.
Hey, Joe.
Just gonna
Who's
meet
Joe?
Where are you going with that gun in your hand?
So, MK Ultra sent me here. There you go.
Ooh.
Okay.
MK Ultra. Nice.
Who's that? The MK Ultra? Sweet.
Or the MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Which one?
The MK Ultra.
So you're
another speaker? Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Dr. Lisa Calderon. So she ran for mayor. She was awesome. And she didn't win. But currently she's the chief of staff for Candy C.D. Baca, who's kind of our... she's getting the nickname as the AOC, the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of Denver City Council.
of Denver.
Of Denver. So Dr. Lisa Calderon, she's just phenomenal. Not only is she an attorney, she's been an instructor, a college professor for 15 years. She taught women's studies, ethnic studies, sociology, criminal justice. And law degree, master's degree, doctorate in education. And she also was at the helm of several nonprofits in the Denver area. And I just would love to hear what she has to say. I think she's got a awesome experience and a great story. And she's like a survivor. I mean, she like totally duked it out in the mayor's race.
Sure. I mean, of course, everyone's going to be throwing the heavy mud at that point and trying to fucking knock people down. So if you survive through those kind of things, those are usually, then you're pretty much at that point if take
Like-
it or leave it. Take it or leave it at that point. And if you can prove your things, and
Yeah.
I think we're at that turning point too, with the right people getting in the right positions to make some real changes in the. And that's why Jared's awesome to have there, and it was like, it's great because the flag incident when we did the flag from at that time, the
hemp flag, yeah.
that was like, without knowing it, we were just sort of throwing in that super karma for
The mojo.
the super mojo.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was like and then even funnier was that they used the picture of him holding the flag. I knew it was going to come on C-SPAN, so I was waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
I took a couple photos because it was still, even though it was like 10 years ago or whatever, didn't have the technology to like do anything but that. It was like so I took a picture of the TV, and then I posted it, and then the paper picked it up and used it as their fucking picture, and it was just hilarious because I was like, really? Because like no one could like get it or have the time to go back and find it.
Yeah.
So they were like, just some guy posted it, use that, and I was like, and I was like, I see like the Denver Post. And a picture of him, and I was like, that is literally my picture. I can tell it's my TV because it had the same little like
Oh my god.
overexposed corner or whatever. And I was
Wow.
like, that's pretty funny.
Um,
Yeah. Anyway.
well, I have a picture that I took in Mila Jansen's book. And I was like, I took that picture.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
You got a copy of that?
No, not yet. I know. That's
I got a copy.
not right.
I do have a copy.
I know. I'm sure you like got the signed copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I'll get it. Yeah. So, what else?
Okay, keep it going.
You know Marty Otanias. He's taken some of your grow classes through Cloverleaf. So he is
I have to know every student now.
well, he's a
You know him.
UCD professor. So
Now he is because he went to my class. Before
he's
that.
an anthropology teacher. So so he
the
took
guy. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's
So
awesome. He was at every one of the classes almost.
Really
A lot.
sweet. Yeah, I
He'd
mean
sit in the front. He was the guy. He was that guy.
Oh yeah, he
He'd be
was
like,
writing notes and studying.
He was actually doing notes. I was like, oh no, we got one of them. Those guys in my kind of class. What are you doing in my class taking notes? Totally fucking weird. Gotta be like me. Can't take notes. Can't do anything. No.
Yeah. No, but he is. He will be at the tea, so he'll have a table, and not only will he talk about the studies that he does. He teaches a cannabis cultures class. It's a junior level anthropology class at UCD, and he also does a study abroad. And so he goes to Holland and Amsterdam with his college students. So he'll talk about that. He just had the first class this year. I think it was in June.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think in June. So,
That's hilarious.
yeah. And then he met this woman who founded a Dutch Harvest hemp tea company. And so we will have some of a gift basket of the Dutch Harvest tea as a prize drawing item at the tea.
Is that what? So you have a bunch of drawings going on there, or just?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
prizes. Yeah. Come win prizes. You get a gift basket from My Personal Summer with their product line in it. And the Dutch Harvest tea from Marty Otanias. We've got books, like a book on sustainability, like cannabis sustainability. A book about something like A Woman's Guide to Cannabis. Because I guess women need some help figuring out how to do it.
Getting that done. Cool. Was there was a bunch more? There was more speakers, or that was it?
That's it. And then we're gonna do like a because the overall theme is personal wellness and community wellness.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have a kind of a little meditation kind of thing to sort of encourage, and we'll learn tools for personal wellness, and we'll just do this great visualization. Be awesome.
And are you guys having any indigenous people coming over or anything like that to lead any of these?
Well,
or?
the woman that does the sound healings, and she does cacao circles, and so she leads ceremonies. I'm not sure where where her heritage is.
Those would be one of those funny those moments where you're like, wait a minute, you're a shaman, because you get all that. You see that all the time now too, where you're like, oh, but having said that, I know an ayahuascarian who's, he's looks like a banker or something, but he was Terrence McKenna's best friend growing up until he died, even, and they stayed at his house and for his final days, and so he had some really super dope formula, and he could turn into that guy once he was there. Like all of a sudden, oh shit, he really is an ayahuascarian.
He brings it, yeah.
But when you meet him on the first day, you just be like, wait a minute,
yeah,
am I meeting the right
Gringo?
guy? Am I meeting the right guy here? And but anyway, it is nice if you can bring people from the different regions that are represented and stuff. It's always a bonus.
Is the tea lady pitching for other tea ladies? That's awesome. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, heal the world with tea, absolutely.
Well, it's such a basic, well, it is cool because it connects all these different cultures, right? So you got
universal beverage.
Last time it was Asia.
Yeah, China. And you had that awesome trip with Cece where you went to Chinatown.
Just happened to go.
Yeah.
With our buddy James from the Soluneem product and the Victory Sprayer. Shout out to James, he's the man.
Oh, yeah. James.
Took us to the killer spot, and literally, because he had a stroke earlier that year, and he was still, kind of recovering from that, and he went in, and we met this guy. I think I stated on the show, so somebody can go back and get all the super good details. No, but he just basically, we sat next to a guy who just looked at him for 5 seconds and figured out right away. And then as Jim is like, oh, I had a stroke. He's like, yeah, we'll go to the back, And he went in the back, and he just lined him up perfect. And
like chiropractic adjustment type, yeah.
Got him.
His chi going.
Got him going, yeah, exactly. And it was like night and day. Like he left that place, and it was like you could see it was just moving different, and lasted for a little while, and. But that guy was just on point, and just
wow.
So it was a combination there. It was understanding, obviously, more than just tea, but it all started with that place. We sat there for a couple hours, and it was definitely the full experience of getting your hair done, basically, without getting your hair done, because you got the full conversation going with the guy, and then people coming and going around you, not knowing no one knows what they want. Hear the same thing over and over again. Like if you go get your hair cut and you sit there and you listen to other people try to explain how they want their hair cut, you're like, I guess no one really knows how to explain how to get their hair cut very good. They're all like, just do it with thing. And you're like, haven't you got your hair cut a few times? Tell them I try to explain a little bit, even though
tight on the sides, the trim,
and then you get other guys when you go to places. They're like, "What do you want, a number 2?" And I'm like, "I don't know, dude. Now you're fucking with me. Now don't start throwing numbers at me. I don't know."
That's like the helmet, the helmet hair.
Yeah, it's like I'm not cutting hair, so I don't really know what it is. Obviously, if you see little patches, but where the hell were we? Wow. Pizza pipes. That's pretty much. I'm stuck at pizza pipes.
Yeah, go back to that.
I think we peaked right there at that moment in time where.
The tea. That was good. That was good.
But the tea part was good too.
Yeah.
But as far as nugget of information, because I'm in shock.
Pizza pipe.
That there's actually a pizza pipe.
We should Google it.
There's actually a pizza pipe.
Pizza pipe, yeah.
I'm tripping out on that.
Yeah, because I saw that. As a young kid too, at Seattle Hemp Fest, he had a little booth, and I'm like, dude, this is genius. He's like, oh, my dad makes pretzels, so I was just goofing around in his factory and adjusted the pretzel recipe. I was like, dude, trademark this.
So yeah, I would have already done it.
Yeah.
I thought I was working on the trademark as we did the show. It was kind of hard, but so okay. So right now we're in South America. We
Yeah.
were in Asia.
Yeah. we're
Before that,
China.
where were we? Just
Oh,
stuck
it
in
was just kind of like
bloody
yeah,
old, bloody old fucking England.
exactly. Just kind of a classic high tea and
Everyone complaining about making it wrong and shit. Like, yeah, you stirred it the wrong way. You're like, what? You did it first. You can't put that in like that. You got to do that with that, and you got to do this with that, and that with that. And, oh my god.
well, I don't. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't think that.
That's what it's supposed to be.
We
At a
had
tea party, it's
different
supposed to,
drama.
it's got to
We
be
had
so.
different-
Oh yeah, new.
Yeah, we
yeah,
had
better,
different drama.
better drama.
How does Mother's High Tea extract product? Mother's High Tea is an event.
Oh yeah, that's what
Yeah.
somebody said. It's got
yeah,
THC in it.
yeah.
She's like, yeah, we do because we love the THC. We eat
And
it all.
I'm
Yeah.
for M. Mort. I'm not able to make a tea for psoriasis. I don't have an herbal. I mean, I take herbs, but I'm not an herbalist.
You need to run with the Mother's
Yeah,
High
but
Tea
we have
product
ladies
line
that
right
can
now.
help you though. At the event, I think Flora Beth Beckman might be a good person to ask because she has
Yep.
So we can find solutions for
well,
you.
if his name's Mike Denver, then it's going to be. Oh yeah, there you go. He's right here, right now.
All right.
Boom.
All right.
He's going to be stalking you. So you got a new
yeah,
stalker
no.
now. His name's Mike
No,
Denver.
no
He'll be finding
stalkers.
you
Yeah, no,
And
I'm
wants
done
to know
with
how
that.
you extract.
I'm done with that phase of my life.
So
pretzels.
So English style crumpets. A lot of crumpets have those first ones.
Yeah, yes, lots of.
I'm thinking some
Yeah.
crisps, and some fucking some crumbs and some crisps.
But so it's Friday, next Friday, September 20th, and you can get tickets at AXS.com. For anyone who wants to join us, you just gotta dress up, be dapper, have a fancy outfit,
You got to wear flamingo on your head. You have to. It's like pretty much
like
can't- yeah.
Vogue magazine flamingo, not
Yeah,
like
upside down
Homer
boot, upside down
Simpson.
boot,
Flamingo.
painted as a flamingo.
Yeah,
I think you got something going on right there. That's how I would do it.
yeah. I could use some THC tea. Yeah. That'd be nice. But this is a non-consumption. Oh, you're stalking Adam. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
At least
there you
I know
go.
you're like
Good.
doing the
I
wrong kind of
feel
stalking.
better.
You got wearing stockings. Are you wearing stockings?
Are you
No, he's like
Stalking.
stalking.
I know stockings with
Yeah.
an L, my friend.
He's got a foot fetish for you, Adam.
I am wearing stockings.
He's like, what size shoes do you wear?
As long as you got weed with you when you're stalking me, that's all right.
When did you put your socks on last?
I will be cool with that. So next Friday,
Yeah, next Friday, 1 to 4.
1 to 4.
Yeah,
What
Friday
the
afternoon
hell?
club.
That means you could go out still.
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
You're like, oh, I gotta go to this work thing, and you come have fun at the tea party, and then, boom, you're like done at 4, and
That's like back in the day when you thought you could go to the bar in the afternoon and no one would know that you're like coming and you're like just hammered by the time you try to come back. You're like what the hell was that? Didn't work.
uh-oh, is
Especially
that
if you
a
like to-
confession?
Oh yeah. Because we used to go to a place that had like 11% alcohol and it was fucking like.
I'm crunchy on the outside and gooey on the inside. Is that what he's saying?
I didn't understand that one.
Okay. THC pretzel.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
crunchy. Yes. This
Or
is my
like-
oh yeah, all the stalkers are calling it. She's crunchy on the outside. Gooey on the
Talking
inside.
about vegetarians.
Yeah, I only eat vegetarians.
yeah,
Sticker
yeah.
on their car.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
taste better.
Yeah, got it.
THC pretzels. Yep. I would say like chocolate dipped pretzel or
With the THC in both.
yeah.
Double dose with a double dose of
Yeah.
THC. Little
Yeah.
little in the sauce, little in the pretzel. So
Mhm.
whatever's like lost in transition in the pretzel,
Mm-hmm.
you get the guaranteed dose in the chocolate.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep. Chocolate.
There we
It's
go.
amazing.
Another genius idea.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's it.
What, like a Primus album cover with all the cheese talk?
Yes, sailing the seas of cheese here on the Adam Dunn
I'm
Show.
drunk on tea.
So we got
crazy for tea.
we got Jim calling in.
Not
around
her,
6,
no.
You said.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
going to call in 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right on.
I think he might Skype in. I told him green screen Skype in or call in, so we shall see.
Okay.
But you never know. So
I don't know who he was talking about. He's talking about somebody.
who?
I don't know, this Elka. I guess I'm not crunchy on the outside.
Oh man,
No, the pretzels.
Not to
very
Elka.
good.
we thought you were crunchy.
No, I kind
We
of
used to have Crunchy on the show. If anybody listened to the show
Oh,
long
we're
enough,
crunchy.
remember
Oh my
Crunchy.
goodness.
shout
yeah.
out to Crunchy. Then there's a guy
Yeah.
who understood cooking and
Mm-hmm.
had such a bad attitude while he was cooking. It was awesome to watch because
Oh
he'd
my
be like
God.
yelling
I
at
think-
people, and that was perfect.
I was on
We used to love having Crunch around.
Crunchy. He like filled in.
But he wouldn't even
for-
yell at people. He would just raise his eyebrows, and you already knew he was pissed. He didn't have to
Yeah.
like say. He didn't have to use his voice. He was like one of those guys. Like,
He just raised his eyebrows. Like,
well, just because
crazy.
because the thing is with food, you got to have the right people around you. You know, it's very
Mhm.
hard. So usually, like, especially if you have weed food, and then everyone's all I'm like useless by the second course.
a
You know what I mean?
puddle. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's actually
Yep.
kicking in.
Oh,
Holy
I was
shit.
talking about the food. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, crunchy.
But that's
food.
a good. Well, that's appropriate.
It's okay. You were
Yeah.
overthinking it.
Yeah, I was. You
See,
know,
you're
I'm
staring
like,
at the screen. You shouldn't have
I'm
the
like,
screen.
what's going on? Like, what are they saying in the chat room?
We
Hold on.
shouldn't have you be able to see the chat. That's already bad news.
Oh no, you took it away.
Just the fact that you can
Took
see
it away.
made it already like, oh
Can you
no.
Google pretzel pipes?
She's like already like,
There's
wait
a panda on the logo, like
lost,
that. I remember.
lost in the chat.
Um,
Oh, now we're getting Integra mega ads going on for Integra.
Oh,
over
it's
here. We don't know if Integra's good though. This Integra could be bad.
pretzel pipes.
Two-way humidity, bro.
Wow, pretzel pipes.
Should we have a Boveda versus Integra show? Maybe I could do that.
Wow.
Boom.
Can I bring them both on?
Wow, it's on Etsy?
No, that's like a pretzel. What?
Maybe it is on it. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, that was the picture.
That was the one, the
there was
panda.
party pretzels.
Oh yeah.
Party, and
There
then
it
pretzel.
is.
Yeah,
There it is,
that's
people.
it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Party
You'll
pretzels.
find everything on here. Even a penis pretzel over there.
What?
It looks like a penis pretzel. That thing. Look at that thing.
It's like the mountain.
Oh, no, it's because it's his fingers. I thought that was from
a
it,
pipe.
when it was smaller. Like that angle, it looks like a penis.
Well, these guys can't see what we're looking at, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. You can put it up. Okay.
No, yeah.
It's because they have the smoke coming off the back. They think it's funny.
It's like, is there a train? Is that a cloud?
Oh,
Yeah.
put it
They're
up
like,
there.
the train
Show
is
the penis.
coming.
Show the penis. It's not a true penis. From here, though, it does, right? Come on.
It could, yeah. Yeah, I
it
guess
from a
with
distance?
the hands, like the
Yeah.
fingers.
Fingers, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. You better show that now. Otherwise, they don't know what the hell's
Like-
going on.
Covered.
All right. So, pretzel pie, party pretzels.
Mm-hmm. Party pretzels.
And what state was this in?
I discovered that in Seattle Hempfest.
Okay.
But I think he's from Illinois.
What?
A Midwestern genius.
Damn.
Yep.
Some
I'm from the
Midwest
Midwest.
technology right there.
Let's see.
They're like, we tried to do it with apple butter, but
So they're
and
German. So they're
popcorn.
basically German descendant. Been
Mhm.
making pretzels for like 160 years in the family.
yeah. And
Fucking
some
bang
and
a
the
pretzel
kid.
out like it ain't nothing.
Yep.
And the kid's like, fuck that. Just like in high school, making pipes in the wood shop. First
Yeah.
thing you do. You're
Uh-huh.
in a wood shop. What are you going to do? You're going to go, go make a pipe. Like, it's like, no way. You're the first guy to figure out how to make a pipe in a wood
Or
shop.
like how to make a dugout, but convince the teacher that it's not a dugout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or don't put in ceramics, you made like a bong, but you didn't put the hole in it, so when you get home, you could tap the hole. Did all that. Everyone did that. We all did that. So is Jim. Okay, let's see. He might call in, and you can hang out and
Okay.
join the
Maybe,
conversation. We're gonna.
Yeah, I don't know what I can really add to
Yeah.
the vape controversy, really.
Well.
Should we do shout-outs?
Yeah, let's do shout outs
Yeah.
for them in the meantime, for sure. Let's start out with thanking, of course, Susan Squibb for hanging out.
Hey!
Just in case so everything goes to complete pandemonium in a second, which it probably will, because
Yes.
it's like one of those when you tell everyone to meet you at the same time. You ever do that? I do that. I used to do that all the time. Be like, 4 o'clock, I'll see you. 4 o'clock, I'll see you. And
Yeah.
why did I tell like 4 people I'm going to see them at 4 o'clock? I'm not going to meet any of them at 4 o'clock. Like, I'm going to end up being like, dude. But for some reason, like at the moment, I'll be like, can't think of another time. I just feel like it's always like, 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Well, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
For sure. But like I said, you can hang out while we do our shout outs.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, we're going to take care of our buddies over at New Millennium Nutrients. NewMillenniumNutrients.com if you want to check out the website. They are putting out great product that is finally getting some traction. A lot of big people out there using it and seeing great results. It's one of those easy to use products, and it's interesting for me because I'll smell like the worst. It is the worst font for sure. Like the hardest to read. They spelled everything wrong.
High five, Joe. That was funny.
Yeah. But when I open up certain products, like I think it's the Ruby, it just boom smells like Holland to me. Like, oh, so the guys have gone like kind of. There's some old school, like tried and true baseline stuff that's in there, and then there's on top of that there's some of these other products that are just like never seen before. And especially their it's actually not the Ruby, because the Ruby's has a different smell, but the Ruby's 9 different types of fulvic acid, so it's pretty sick. So it's like that's like most products have 1, so they're like, all right, we got 9. Like, yeah, we're covering every fucking base.
So you're totally geeking out on the nutrients.
Geeking out on the newts. Yeah. You can get these things ready to go for like a dosatron system or whatever. So if you've got a big setup and you want to compare prices, give a check on the site, punch in your digits, see what you're going to need per month.
It's a calculator.
There is a calculator.
Awesome.
It's all built in.
That's helpful.
Yep. So check that out. And obviously when you contact these people, you always throw the done deal at them.
The done deal.
You just say done deal. And then they can say, oh my God, did he say done deal? And then it's like red alert. Sirens go off. Shit gets weird. Everyone's locked down. They're like, fuck, done deal. And everyone doesn't know what to do.
Expedite.
Pretty much. Yeah, it kind of.
Premium service.
Premium yet confused service, because no one knows what's going on, because done deal can be anything.
Could be a grab bag. It could be 50% off.
Free shipping. We don't know.
Could be free pin.
There you go. There's their.
Could be they'll throw in a pretzel pipe, maybe.
There's their store finder if you want to check that out.
Whoa.
Once again, done deal. At any of these spots, throw it at them. See if they know what the hell's going on. If not, tell them to call management. Say, call management right now.
Call management.
And say,
I get the done deal.
I want the fucking done deal. And these places are going to go nuts. Yeah, that'd be great. They're going to get in so much trouble. It'd be perfect. Anyway, NewMillenniumNutrients.com. Check them out. Next, we got the best of the best here in Colorado. We have the Incredibles. Incredibles edibles, Incredibles extracts, Incredibles bath products,
wellness
Incredibles
products too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they cover it
A
all.
whole empire.
Check them out. Go to iloveincredibles.com. Check out their store finder and check out. If you're in Colorado, it's ridiculous. You can't even see Colorado. It's gone.
Because it's just like they're everywhere.
Yeah, there's like covers. There are so many logos you can't see the state anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Handcrafted ingredients.
handcrafted.
16 flavors.
Yep, stirred by
Oh,
little
look
orange
at
midgets running
that.
around a factory, just like you think, with Willy Wonka style. And
Yeah.
they've done it
Oh,
all.
she's so happy.
But yeah, you can check out. Now you know we're on a delay, so you know no one knows what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
Yes,
Oh,
you're not
whoops.
really. You're not commentating by any means.
Oh,
I need to
all
get a
right.
new screen so you guys can see this one.
Yeah,
It's live.
you're like talking like 2 seconds after the fact. They're like, "What is she talking about?" She makes no sense. It's okay, but
the YouTube time continuum.
it's okay.
Yeah.
No one.
What is
no one,
real anyway?
I don't know.
no one.
There is no way of knowing
Yeah.
in which
Yes, Tony Bologna, you're
direction we
gonna
are
have freaking commercials. I'm
going.
sorry, my friend.
He just showed up. That's why he was.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's pissed. He
Yeah,
just got
just
up.
shut up.
What if fucking commercials? That's how you win. That's how you win all of these. That's how half your house has been furnished, I'm sure, from winnings, because you've been listening to somebody else's show and someone else's show. You're like, what else can I win?
Yeah, right.
These slacker shows that nobody ever calls in. Yeah, it's terrible.
There's a peanut gallery.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Who's back in? Back Arnie, yes?
I don't know.
No idea.
Back Arns.
No idea. Now you get me all sidetracked. Incredibles edibles and incredible extracts at I11Incredibles.com. Done Deal's not ready with these guys yet, but it's coming.
It's coming.
There's a new
It's going to
product.
be exciting.
There's a new product coming out, new drop. They're going to come on the show, explain it, tell you what the Done Deal is there, and make it happen. So, but where you can get the Done Deal
For sure.
every day, all day, is at our next crew, which is Build a Soil. And if you have any size garden and you want to sort of switch over to no-till and you want to have some living soil and you want to get sources for all the inputs for those to get that stuff rocking, you contact them, buildasoil.com. You go to them, or you go to 855-877-SOIL, and they will hook you up, and then you just tell them you want the Done Deal, and bam, you're getting taken care of, because those guys, especially if you're here in Colorado, you can get it free shipping, so over $500. And we got a call coming in. So let's see.
They want you to dance on the
Let's see what
table.
we got.
Someone wants you to dance
Hello.
on the table. Hi.
What have we got, my friend? Is that Jim?
Hello, I'm trying to figure out this video chat stuff and I'm failing.
It's fine.
fine.
We're doing the commercial at the moment, so we got a few minutes to kind of dial it in. So perfect timing. You got it, MTI. You're gonna be working on. You're working on.
I'm working on it right now
There
while
you
we're
go.
doing the ads.
MTI.
But
It's MTI. Yeah. And all right. So Build a Soil though is the connect you need anywhere in the country. You can order materials. Here we are. I think we may have something here. This looks like it
I'm
could
a little
work.
technically challenged, but I figure it out eventually.
That looks good. That looks pretty good.
cool.
I think that's gonna work. Let's see. Bam. Through the magic of Hollywood, we will have a seamless transition soon. We'll be hanging out together.
Well, hey man, long time no see. How you been?
Not bad. We're gonna get back to the shout outs after we're done with this. So we're gonna stop at Build a Soil, which again, don't forget your Done Deal. I think there it's 15% off everything, but you never know with those guys. And we
Whoa.
went down
Hey, there we go.
down for the count.
Jim fell.
Yeah.
Nice. You got the backdrop.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna work.
That's
I think it's
good.
gonna work. No, that ain't gonna work.
I got a really low-tech phone holder, but a high-tech backdrop. So how's that?
Sweet. Yeah, it's
I think
all
it's gonna work
velvety.
as long as nobody moves.
I'm not
Nobody
gonna move
moves.
here. As soon as I get
Nobody
this thing
gets
set,
hurt.
It's not going to get touched again.
Okay, so our next guest, Jim Freire, who was wait, when were you on the show? Like 2015 or 16? Was it 15? I think.
It's been a while, man.
I think it was like 15, I believe. I think it was 15. And it was when Mitch was here, and Mitch hasn't been here for a while, but this was even early in the Mitch season because you were a regular guest, which was great because we needed the brains. You know what I mean? We were like we had it kind of figured out, but we didn't really know what we were talking about. And I think you were the first to sort of set us straight a little bit here and there, which made everybody a little more confident. You've been on the forums and kind of slapping people around. Nowadays, you have to actually go there, I guess, and like really show them what's up. How's it been since the last time we talked?
Well, pretty much said goodbye to the cannabis industry. Just too much. I'm going to go ahead and use the word fuckery. Too many people who are behind these cartridges in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
People with no experience in cannabis, but a lot of experience in money. And as a result, it just no longer was an industry that I could be part of. So I left. And I'm working with my wife on, she's an active massage therapist. I make products for her business that are getting some traction, and we're doing good work there. So, yeah, if it would have stayed old school head, I'd probably still be in the business. But when those MBAs started showing up, no thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of ironic that this stuff that's happening right now, because it really is not technically. It is what you were talking about, but it's not. There we go. Now there's a backdrop.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The choppers.
Yes, you're in. Yes, perfect.
Helicopters.
Is his vocal good? Because I don't hear it on this side.
What?
Saying he needs to turn his speaker down.
Yeah, we can hear us on his speaker over
Oh.
there a little bit if he wants to turn his speaker down a little bit.
Do you have headphones?
I've got a Bluetooth.
You have Bluetooth headphones? That works with me when I'm on
As
the
long as
road.
it doesn't run on a battery.
As long, as long as it's charged, good.
Yeah.
Just because if you do that, you'll get a better sound. Because the minute you get the feedback, it kills it. So.
Does it sound all right?
Yeah, I think we're fine.
You got a Bluetooth speaker, is what it is, not a Bluetooth headphones. I got you. Because when he talks, I don't hear it.
Say hello.
Hello?
There we go. That worked.
I hear
But
it. I hear it on both sides. I'm not.
I think it's okay now.
Okay. So, all right. So, I mean, this right now, it seems like the people are freaking out about all the flavors and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, that's not really the issue, right? I mean, from your point of view, is it?
Well, there are certain flavors that are direct issues. Any of your sweet candy flavors, caramels, things along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
The real, not the fruitier flavors, but the more candy flavors that may possibly have butter flavoring in them. Butter flavoring is caused by a chemical called diacetyl. Diacetyl will give a person what's called bronchiolitis obliterans. Now, it's exactly how it sounds. It obliterates your lungs. It turns your alveoli into like little pussy pockets of dead tissue.
Yes.
That was found out in the theater industry. The butter flavoring for popcorn was screwing people up, and that was
just from breathing it.
Is that from people putting it on, like people who are putting it on all day and kind of breathing the vapor of it?
It's just like if you worked in a theater and you were a popcorn guy. Back in the day, they were using enough diacetyl that it was hurting people.
I can imagine.
So when you come to like the flavorings in like Nick juice, you get a lot of these like caramel flavors, those type of things, those real sweet candy flavors. There's a high chance that they're using a butter flavor additive in that, and that's diacetyl. And I would say that coupled with like the either the PG or the vegetable glycerin used, the vegetable glycerin is slow to leave. It holds the diacetyl against the lung tissue longer. It's like it's an excipient to a poison.
Mm-hmm.
It allows that poison to remain in contact with the lung even longer because it is a volatile chemical, and you can breathe it out eventually. Now, that's just a flavoring issue. What we're seeing now is beyond just the flavoring issue. What we're seeing now is a direct result of the distillate industry and poor distillation. Inconsistent viscosities requiring additives to correct the viscosity from whichever direction it happened to have landed.
Right.
So that MCT, medium chain triglycerides, are used in cartridges.
Yeah.
And I was shocked to find out when I found out about vitamin E acetate. That just blew my mind, because that is as obvious a fat as you can possibly think of. And lipoid pneumonia is from inhaling fat. In fact, you can get lipoid pneumonia from oil pulling your teeth.
Yeah.
Where you hold oil in your mouth to clean your teeth. You can get lipoid pneumonia from doing that.
Wow.
So it doesn't take a lot of inhalation in order for you to become poisoned by fat in your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started sending this warning out, it was due to extracts that weren't winterized, which are still available. Extracts like your crumbles and your shatters and those type of things. Anything you could touch and hold, it has enough wax in it that one dab exceeds the wax limit set by the federal government for people who work with wax. Over an 8-hour period, it exceeds it. One dab.
Yeah, no, I remember you. I already remember how scared everybody was after our show. I was like, "Thanks a lot, Jim, man. You ruined it for everybody."
I remember.
People were like, "Put the dabs down." No.
Autumn, I really got to say this too. I really wish I wasn't sitting here talking to you about this right now.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I'd have been wrong. I wish I'd have been so damn wrong everybody laughed at me for the rest of their life.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
That's not the case, and I knew it wasn't going to be the case. And what we're seeing now is the net result of chronic subacute lung toxicity being tipped over the edge by time, new additives, you name it. The industry is changing all the time. Everybody's, trying to one-up the next guy, proprietary secrets, all this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're seeing is it's come to the point where it's not, they didn't even bat an eye when they used MCT.
Yeah, which is terrible right there. I mean, that's.
You're inhaling a fat.
Yeah.
Textbook cause of lipoid pneumonia. So at what point does the industry pay attention? I mean, I over these years, I provided documentation, references to the NIH, references to OSHA, reference here, reference there, reference till I skipped references for a while. And now I'm disgusted, I'm saddened, and I have to say a little bit angry at what's come out of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's again like one of those things that you have to, like, people get too quickly like, think that things are safe because this is fine, and like the whole accumulative thing of anything is how things usually work. I mean, it's like your body can kick out a lot with okay, so for instance, THC on its own, right? Your body's pretty, I mean, resistant to, like, as far as resistant, like it can absorb it, right? And it doesn't really, THC on its own is not bad, is it?
Even you remember the days of the dab gauntlets and the mega dabs and people
yeah.
Like they had like a glob of fucking goo on the end of a dabber, and they'd like throw that big ass glob of goo and it smoked for 10 minutes on them, and they're just huffing away at that crap. Well, THC and all cannabinoids are non-polar substances, and by and large, your lungs are polar. They're water. Mm-hmm. So you start huffing a large amount of non-polar substances into your lungs, you're going to overload the lungs. That's just the case, whether it's THC or not. In order to absorb the THC, you have a certain amount of lipids in the mucus of your lungs. Mm-hmm. In order for your body to absorb that THC from your lungs, it has to be transferred from that to that lipid in your lungs. There's a finite quantity of that lipid in your lungs. Once you've used it up, there's no more. And whatever THC is left in your lungs sits there until you make enough lipid to get rid of it.
It's just like a carry. So basically, it's like it just kind of helps carry stuff out and on its own. And how much does it take to get gummed up? You think? Like, I mean,
the THC, and if they're making cough, you choke up the sugar and spit it out. That's helping. We're talking about massive inhaling of non-polar liquids into your polar lungs. You think about, it's so much of an overkill compared to any of the other things that I've ever read about that were causative of lipoid pneumonia. Things like I mentioned, oil pulling, where you hold coconut oil or oil in your mouth to clean your teeth somehow. I'm not really clear on that whole procedure, but it involves you hold oil in your mouth and it pulls some of the stains from your teeth. Well, that practice alone, if you do it every day for a week, you're susceptible to lipoid pneumonia. Another example.
Better tell Cece.
If you're around hydraulics.
She pulls her teeth with the oil.
Yeah, like I mean, and that ends up in the alveoli, or where does that end up?
In the alveoli, it clogs the alveoli, and once an alveoli becomes too clogged, it dies. And
does it regenerate?
Last time we talked, it was 2015.
It's kind of like the coral. It's kind of like the coral of the body or something. You know what I mean? It seems like it's great when it's alive and it's active and it does its job. But then the minute it gets some goo on it, like some oil or something, clogs it up, dies off, and that shit don't grow back. You know what I mean? So is it like that, or is it kind of like comes back, but it takes
No, it doesn't come back.
It doesn't come back. So
that's why you're on your way to COPD.
Wow.
And that's kind of what I wanted to, bring up as what's next. And what's next is a large influx of COPD. Whether people actually become hospitalized for this vaping illness, as they're calling it, whether or not that happens is kind of, their own physicality. Are they, maybe more susceptible? Did they vape maybe more than the other person? Whatever. But what's going to happen is it's all these subchronic cases, these people who have mild irritation over years, COPD at a young age.
Yeah, I mean, it's also when what really is rough is that you got people who have access that are young, and rolling a joint is a little harder than pushing a button on a pen, so they can get away with it. People aren't really like too crazy about it yet, but I mean, shit, after this whole thing goes down, it's going to change. People are going to become like so hyper scared of vape pens in general.
Yeah.
Well, there is a place for vaping cannabinoids. There's a place for it, and it's a medical place more than a recreational place. It becomes like the rat and the cocaine with push the button. That's what it becomes like. I've watched it. I've watched people, and they become like little rats in a cage, pushing that button to get their hit, get their hit, get their hit, get their hit. And another thing that we're talking about here is incredible upregulation of the cannabinoid system for periods of years. What effect is that going to have on a human body? Nobody knows. Nobody can even say. We do know that not enough cannabinoids causes a whole host of illnesses. You can pretty much expect that cannabis is a biphasic pharmacological substance, which means at a low dose it has one effect, and at a high dose it has another effect. That if a lack of cannabinoids causes an issue, and excessive cannabinoids will also cause an issue.
Sure. I think, I mean, the good part is I think the good will outweigh the bad on that particular part. Like, I'd rather have people have too much cannabinoids and go like, oh, okay, that's what we got to deal with. All right, it ain't so bad. You know what I mean? I have a feeling it won't be nearly as rough as, other substances done in excess because, as we all know with cannabis, it's kind of like...
I don't know.
I
don't know. Because the endocannabinoid system is one of the most basic regulatory systems of the human body. It is responsible for you being within a range of function throughout the course of your day. It keeps your blood pressure from going too high, too low, respiration rate too high, too low, keeps everything on a median. Now, after years of endocannabinoid upregulation, can we actually say that it's going to be better? We don't even know. We can look at other cultures that, like say the Afghanis who power the hash, they power the good hash, and they do power it. What effect has that had on them? I mean, has anybody gone and looked and seen, when these guys are old, shriveled up old Afghani men sitting there puffing on the hookah, they got like are they sitting on a freaking tumor the size of a basketball? What's going on with them? We don't know. Nobody's measured their lung function. Nobody knows, whether or not their blood pressure's good, whatever. Maybe could be it is maybe it's vitamins. We don't know. We just don't know. And the fact that we don't know, but we're going to experiment on so many people.
As long as it's Generation Z, I'm good with that. I guess it's like let's weed them out. Let's weed them out. Weed them out with no. It is
that's what's going to happen.
It is kind of weird when you see young people though that haven't been even because some of them I didn't read all 6 cases. That's how small it is, but I think they're like 2-3 years maybe they're talking
of
about
using it.
Yeah. And
6 deaths, but
I have a feeling it's more of like isolated. I think it's the vitamin E acetate, and that doesn't make any sense. That's like one of those, like, what, huh? Like I was saying earlier, it's like somebody going shopping at the Kmart looking for something that they don't know what they're mixing it in. All they know is it looks like brown sugar, but the dark one, So, okay, we'll get some of this brown sugar dark stuff, throw that in there, and you're like, okay, so you just killed like 10 people, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like that shit's not supposed to do what they're going to do with it, you know what I mean? So then that's kind of the same situation as just people putting vitamin E into a thing, thinking it looks like hash with some THC in it, distillate, and it's fucking just poison, at that point. So I think that's kind of what's happening. And then 6 people, maybe 2 of them are buying the same stupid shitty carts, you know what I mean? And there's probably, there might be 100 people total or something like that in the end, but it'll be just like...
6 people have died and 450 to date acute cases of people who are on ventilators. So it's not just the 6 people who've actually died, and the 450 are the tip of the iceberg. Like I said in 2015, this is going to go undiagnosed for a long time, and at this point, they're still scratching their head because they can't come to a solid diagnosis. They're seeing trash lungs. And, you see the term lipoid pneumonia thrown around, which, that's probably a really good basic diagnosis. What came with it, what lung damage came with the pneumonia. And that's what that's what all the other words they're using to describe this stuff are about, is it's lipoid pneumonia. It causes this damage to the lung, and we're going to use a bunch of Latin names to describe it. And you got different doctors using different terms for what they see as they're looking at the lungs. But the bottom line is we're looking at lipoid pneumonia, and bronchiolitis obliterant.
Mm-hmm.
It's a combination between the flavors, the butter flavors, and the fat. Those are the two basic toxins that you're seeing in vaporizing anything. The serious toxins. And then you get into the secondary lighter duty toxins like cannabis waxes and you know, that sort of thing, and then also your PG and your vegetable glycerin. I call them like minor toxins, whereas the other ones are more serious toxins. It's going to
those buttery things, those are also in the flavor. Like, is that only buttery, or is that just like an MSG kind of thing where it like adds to everything and they put it into lots of products?
Well, the diacetyl butter flavor thing is in a lot of candy flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's not like a bright fruity flavor.
Yeah, like butterscotch and that kind of.
Those things, yeah, exactly.
Pumpkin. Oh, what about the pumpkin? Is that the pumpkin spice? Is that in that being pumpkin spice? Probably, huh? Ooh.
So it's ongoing. It's just developing as we're talking now. What I think we're seeing now is the result of a lot of people going to a 3-day course on distillation and going home to their $50,000 distillate machine
Mm-hmm.
and thinking they're distillers. I think that distillate itself is a problem.
Right.
Under that much heat, the chance of oxidative reactions occurring is really high. Oxidative reactions on phenylterpenes, they usually result in like benzene type compounds.
Right.
So, you know, I know that they, you know, another thing, I blame the labs. I blame the labs wholeheartedly for this. They got up on a pedestal and started screaming about pesticides. And now, at least in Oregon, your pot has to be cleaner than any food you find in the goddamn store. Seriously. I mean,
Right.
You put a strawberry next to a bud, and you know, send a blind to a lab. You know, say like a strawberry, you could confuse it, make it look just like pot. You send that into a lab, the strawberry ain't gonna pass shit because it's one of the dirtiest things you can put in your mouth from a grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
as far as pesticides. So the labs, they got all up and bullshitty about pesticides because they could charge. The standards are already there. It was an easy money go-to for them. Okay, now I dealt with many labs while we were in business.
Mm-hmm.
Every lab I dealt with, I brought this problem up to them, to the actual lab tech. Demonstrated, brought them in samples of cannabis wax, pure white fatty lipids. I've taken extracts off the shelf and done it right on their desk,
Mm-hmm.
and had them ignore it. So it's as much the labs as the regulators. It's people not willing to do the damn homework. I mean, literally, Adam.
Well, it's also losing a lot of. I mean, when you start really cleaning it up right, you lose so much that people get like, especially people that are money people are just like, we can't afford to lose 60%. You're like, yeah, you should lose about 72% if you really want it to be good. You know what I mean? So I think that's also the problem is greed. You know.
You know, a non-polar, let's say like a butane extract of a good quality bud, it's going to come in 7 to 12% wax.
Mm-hmm.
Until it's, and inline dewaxing is bullshit. That's bullshit. It doesn't happen. All you're doing is just, you're taking it down to the point where a minimal amount of wax is soluble at that temperature is what's happening. So that inline dewaxing, that's bullshit. If you're not doing a 2-solvent desterilization, you're not doing shit. You're just not doing anything positive.
Right.
You're not creating a dewaxed extract. So, yeah, first of all is a nonpolar extract, and that includes CO2. CO2 is exceptionally good at pulling waxes. Those type of extracts, raw gum extracts that haven't been they're an issue. They're, the only thing that saves people from them is the fact that most people can't smoke enough of it to really crack the raw. It's not like after it's been purified, distilled, and cleaned up and put in a pan where you can just push the button, click, click, click. That's where, when you got to work for it, you got to grab it out of a little container. You got to have that nail hot. You're torching it up. Your hands are flying this way and that way. Eventually, you get kind of stoned and forget to keep taking hits.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is also you've seen how everybody was doing it wrong, and then teaching each other how to do it right, and then doing that wrong, and then teaching somebody else how to do it right, and it changed like 4 different times. But first it was a dome, then there was no dome, and then it was the nail, then the nail without the dome, then the thing with the thing, and then the thing with the inline thing, then the cups, then the so you had to like keep up, and if you weren't keeping up, you were like, what the fuck is this? And there was a bunch of them that were super dirty, just by the way they were done, and you could tell because you could look at the hardware and be like, that's pretty dirty, like it was, and people were hitting too hot and too much, too hot. So I think nowadays, with the prices the way they are and the way people smoke, people use pens mostly because of the cost convenience. You know what I mean? Also being able to smoke right outside the place they work or wherever. So there has to be a safe way to do it. Do you think just very thin, pure cannabis, but just the right type of cannabis is the best way to go, or?
I think a reinvention of the vaporizer to where you have a inert heat source, an aluminum oxide pan, a nitrogen purge, so that when the extract actually hits the hot heat source, it doesn't oxidize, because oxidized terpenes are poison.
Damn you!
I know, I suck. I know, I really do. I really do suck. And I
haven't had him on for a long time.
I wish you could have cussed me from the other direction. But you're gonna cuss me anyway, so let's go. But it's true. Oxidized terpenes are poison. They turn into benzene compounds.
Now, is that just a temperature-related thing, or is that
oxygen?
So as it hits heat, and it's in it.
Is first and foremost, to where you are applying a measured amount to a heat source, and in between each time you inhale, some sort of cleaning system goes into effect on that device. While that stuff is being heated, it needs to be in an inert atmosphere. Otherwise, you're going to oxidize what's in there. So this whole pen thing, where you're pulling oxygen past the heat source and the material as it's vaporizing, what better way to oxidize something, right? How does a welding torch work? It injects oxygen into the fire, and it causes that acetylene to go up and oxidize it. These are all organic compounds.
Yeah.
When they get hot, they'll oxidize. And so preventing oxidation is first and foremost thing that the vape industry needs to look at if they want to address this and stay in business.
So what you have to package everything under a vacuum or something? Or
they've ignored. I don't know what the end result of this is going to be, because honestly, I thought that they would have got their shit together by now and would be doing something along this line already. but instead they went the other direction. So, I can't really speculate as to, how the industry can react to this, other than, well, be prepared for some pretty heavy lawsuits coming.
Well, yeah, that's the future. That is the future of cannabis. It's like lawyers are just rubbing their hands together right now, going like, "Oh my God, this is all going to go train wreck." Things are just going to start in all different ways. Not just the vape world is going to take a hit soon, obviously, because a lot of people are not going to want to deal with it. Just say fuck it, and then people are like gobbling up everything. You see now people just like here in this in this state, Madman just bought like, I don't know, like 9, 10, 12 places or something. They just keep buying up.
Oh, dispensaries.
Yeah,
consolidation.
So that's all happening, just like kind of expected. And then, you just have to, like, the key, in my opinion, is as long as they don't fuck with home growers, then I'm all right. The minute they start to do that, like, then it's on. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
People should be able to grow it at home. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where it gets real weird.
As far as it goes, cannabis itself, the plant, cannabis is still safe. It's still marginally considered good for the lungs. Nobody's ever died from cannabis still. Now, what people have done to cannabis, they've managed to take something that's never killed anybody and kill somebody with it. Yay.
Obvious, yeah.
And then, I got to bring up this other thing. I see this scrolling through social media. I see this, the world's most powerful hash. And here's a frickin' rock of THCA.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking to myself, you fucking dummy. That is way closer to cocaine than it is hash.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fuck sales pitch are you pulling here? And how long is it going to be before somebody gets fucked up from that?
It's weird though, isn't it? Because you notice with that, like, whenever I try pure THCA, it doesn't really get me that high at all. Like,
no, it's Marinol.
It's weird. Like, it just like tastes shitty.
I was given 750 Marinol caps by a woman whose son didn't respond to it either. She gave them to me just to see what the hell. I took them just to see what the hell. I took 22 of those little sesame seed oil caps. And I didn't feel jack shit, except I got the shit from these sesame seed oil.
Right.
It's Marinol. And boy, howdy, I'll tell you what, people get really bent when you call their THCA Marinol. They get real bent because that hurts their marketing. But I'll tell you what, THCA, as soon as you decarboxylate it, it's Marinol. And what the fuck is our industry doing selling pharmaceuticals?
Mm-hmm. Well, we also knew back in the day, even without ever, like, I never got to try Marinol or didn't really want to, but I did know that it, or at least I had read and I thought I knew that it just didn't have a nice high, that it was, people thought it was kind of weird and kind of a little creepy, kind of got them high, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, that doesn't sound like fun. Like, I wasn't really interested in trying it in the first place. But
I'll give you an example. Pure THC is a lot more similar to salvinorin than it is to pot. Salvinorin A, the active ingredient in salvia, is a triterpene. It's not an alkaloid compound at all. It's which is amazing about it. It's an incredibly potent hallucinogen, and it's a terpene. But in its actual effect, it's a lot closer to what pure THC is than, say, your other terpenes, or in relation to pure THC and cannabis. Pure THC and salvinorin are much closer in pharmacological effect, and except it's just a matter of degree. They're both stroking your 5-H2A serotonin receptor, which is your hallucinogen receptor. Salvinorin happens to stroke some opiate receptors too. I think also THCA or THC may also stroke a few of the opiate receptors. I know it does the dopamine receptors. Cannabis has a different pharmacology than these pure compounds do, and that's the bottom line right there. Is we're coming down to these distillates that have to be cut with other things in order to be used. We've got an unscrupulous industry taking whatever they can find on the shelf and trying to get the right viscosity in their pens. We've got extract industry that continues to pump out waxy extracts that are contributing to the problem.
What is the byproduct of the of the vitamin E? Because that seems to be the big one that everybody's thinking is the killer.
When you oxidize it, it becomes all kinds of nasty things. It becomes benzene compounds. It becomes it breaks down into let me see if I can remember it. PPFAs. I can remember the acronym, but I can't remember the.
Okay. So PPFA is like a paraben.
Just think of it as pieces of fat.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about here. Is just basically destructive oxidation is by and large the main issue with cannabis extracts in general. And then you compound that, you add to those already existing irritants other irritants, and now we've come to the point where they're just directly adding straight up fat to these extracts in order to get them to the consistency that they can sell. That is the root of the problem, and until that is addressed, it's not going to go away. This problem is just beginning.
Yeah, well, of course. If it's only six, it's like...
Yeah, it's just beginning.
There'll be a bunch of cases, but at the same time, I think also the reality is going to kick in that it's very much based on small numbers of people doing shitty jobs more than just an accumulative thing. Because I think a lot of people would be seeing this more, especially considering the volume of vapor or whatever that we've watched people smoke. I mean, it's like, damn. So I think it might be. It might also be a little bit of a genetic thing too, like certain people being more susceptible to it than others. Some people haven't already.
COPD has a definite genetic component,
like a predisposition to it or something.
And yeah, it's true. There's going to be some people. I've known old generation people who smoke them Pall Malls, no filter, until they're in their 90s.
Exactly. Like some people just don't get it. They don't have that gene.
I've watched a whole grip of my family die in their 50s from cigarettes. Mm-hmm. So it is a genetic component, definitely. There is also, there's a lot of different factors that are involved here, and no, this isn't going to affect everybody who vaporizes.
No, of course.
But it's going to affect enough of a percentage of people who vaporize in the long term that the numbers of people, younger people with COPD, is going to rise drastically because of vaping.
Well, so it's also funny is like always when I'm smoking bongs I was always the reason was you had that water that the smoke had to go through the water. You grabbed all the heavy particulates. You got a better hit, just healthier in my mind. But you had to clean that thing every day or two, or else it got pretty stanky. Now with dabs and with oil, it never gets burned, so it always goes through that phase where it's like, unless you're scorching hot, which everybody's sort of figured out that that's not good either. But I think also that when people do really low temp dabs, they have almost as much of a problem too, because that smoke or whatever you want to call it it just goes from whatever you do, like the dab thing that you have, into your lungs, and then goes right back to where it was and looks exactly like it was. And people that does accumulate pretty fast. If you're thinking about like the dabs that I do or a lot of my friends do, we're like, okay, that's that would be in a week, that'd be like 3 grams, you know what I mean, or something like that, at least, close to.
And then you look at your dab rig after you run 3 grams through it,
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah, a bunch of it's in there still. It looks
like that's your lungs.
Right, it's just decarb. Well, the thing is, this is what I was going to say though. When you do it with a rig, at least you do. If you change the water all the time and you can kind of keep an eye on it, you do know that that's not in your lungs. That's in the rig. Whereas I think the people kind of forget when they're smoking on a pen that there's no filter there. It's just straight into your lungs. So that actually, I think, also makes it a little more, a little higher percentage of actual waxes and things getting in your lungs, because you don't have that filter anymore. And I think people just don't think like that anymore. They go, oh, the pen is cool, but there's no filter. Yeah. There's actually it's even worse.
Yeah, it's and that just before that light goes out on the pen, that fucking hit gets pretty hot.
Mm-hmm.
That if you're running a decent battery, you're running a good cartridge, that a quality cartridge, the end of that hit, it's hot. You can feel it on your tongue. It's hot. If you can feel it that hot on your tongue, down inside that cartridge, it's burning stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's by and large why you don't have 10-gram cartridges.
Yeah.
What happens in that heating element is it just becomes disgusting with burnt shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want a big cartridge. I mean, it's like drinking beers. You don't want too big of a beer. You get the foam, everything's dead after a while. It's all warm. It's warm in your hand. You're like, ugh, should have just got 2 small ones. And so it's kind of the same with anything that, definitely, because it heats it up and cools down, heats up and cools down, heats up and cools down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so there's multiple issues that are going on here, Adam, and the construction of the vaporization devices itself needs to minimize oxidation. So there needs to be an inert gas flow over the hit as it's being heated. It needs to be an inert heat source, something along the lines of quartz or aluminum oxide, something that will not be affected by warm or hot organic acid. So
it seems very cost restrictive. I'm like, I need that's like a beyond most people's abilities as far as keeping it in any kind of reasonable price scheme. It's like $2,500 pens with, because that's the thing is to.
It's the Kardashian line.
Well, I don't expect vapor, in order for it to be done correctly, properly, however you want to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say safely, because I still am not convinced that inhaling solvent extracted cannabinoids I'm still not convinced it's a good idea. I was on board, but I've made every freaking type I've extracted using every kind of solvent you could think of.
Well, what about just like rosin and things like that, though, and then the lipids that are there?
And the bottom line is you're still creating a solution of organic compounds that can react. That's the difference between a solvent extract and screened hash.
So what-
I
so
use-
so what so the if you take, say you make bubble hash or dry sieve, and then you make that into rosin, that particular product you feel is healthy then?
I don't know. I mean, when you make rosin, you're creating a solution of cannabinoid. You're creating a solution of organic acids, cannabinoids, and terpenes under heat and pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two things that cause chemical reactions.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to it. I don't know. Honestly, I've never taken rosin apart. I've never had a big enough glob of it that I started playing with it in the lab and taking it apart to see. But my first thought on it is heat and pressure creating a solution of organic acids is how you cause reactions to occur. And what those reactions are pretty random depending on how much oxygen, how much heat, how much pressure, blah, 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 blah. What are the factors?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I use this analogy for screened hash versus solvent extract. You take a little citric acid, a little baking soda, a little sand, throw them all together. Now screen the sand out. You've got three products. Two of them over here, one of them are over here. But they're discrete products. They're virtually the same products that were mixed together. They're just different now. Now, take that same mixture, citric acid, baking soda, and sand, and add water. Now filter the sand out. You have the same thing. No, you have sodium citrate solution, and you have wet sand.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any baking soda, and you don't have any citric acid left. That's the example I use. But that is the difference between sifted hash and solvent extract.
Right.
So when you add the solvent, you're throwing a wild card into that mix. And what is occurring in that solvent extract has not been analyzed. So assuming it's safe because it's hot is a dangerous assumption.
Do you smoke any of those things though, rosin or?
I'll smoke dry stiff hash and I smoke bud, and that's it anymore. I've been through all the other stuff. All the other stuff seemed to want to take my lungs away.
Even you're talking about like even water.
Oh no, water. Any real hash. Like I said, when you mechanically separate those trichomes, it's different than when you solvent separate.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanical separation, and I'm not prepared to go out too far on a limb and say why sifted hash is less devastating to your lungs than solvent extract, other than the fact that there could be an aspect to the particulates in it that help you expectorate. There could be an aspect to some of the terpenes that aren't destroyed by solvent extraction, because some of the more delicate terpenes are chiral molecules. They have a twist to them.
Hmm.
And that twist is held in place by the matrix they're in. And when you throw them in a solvent, there's nothing holding that molecule in stability, and it can untwist, or it can twist in another direction and become another molecule. Terpenes are kind of named by the direction they turn, twist. That's why you've got alpha, beta. You got like beta caryophyllene.
Mm-hmm.
You've got beta pinene. These are all just different twists of the pinene molecule.
So all those, like the beta and all that's all going in the same direction.
Yeah, we're talking. It's called chirality, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's affected by being in solvent. And it's one of the reasons why even steam distillation doesn't give you the exact representation of the terpenes involved.
Yeah,
So-
I've never seen steam that I thought was like, oh yeah, that's bang on. It's always, I don't know, kind of smells like something. It doesn't smell like the thing that you're saying it smells like.
Because when those terpenes are subjected to heat and, harsh conditions, they untwist. They twist different. They rearrange themselves. And they become different products than they were in the plant. And this is just reality here. This is not, it's not speculation.
Okay.
And it's not my opinion. This is actual, just pure chemistry.
Science.
And
So with like bubble hash, for instance, like once you put it in the water and take out all the plant material, and you do your separation, and you rinse it really good, and then you flip it out, and you dry it in your, let's say in your freeze dryer, to go real quick and hard, and get it all done as clean as you can. Then microplane after that. Then fucking stick that into a bag, and then fucking squeeze it, and go through all those steps. You think you at that point have anywhere along the lines ruined those or changed those original trips? Because I think with some things you can tell, because
I don't actually. My thing is I don't see the point of rosin. I don't see the point.
just because it's dabbable compared to non-dabbable. Because if you take like pure bubble hash or pure dry sieve and put it and try to do a dab, which is what everybody wants to do, it doesn't really work. You have to go back to the old flame because it doesn't heat up enough.
So it comes back to just being an artifact of dab culture.
Yep. Like
So-
kids these days don't even know how to use a pipe.
So
They're like,
there
"What
we-
do you mean you can't dab it? You got to dab it."
This is gonna be another harsh one. People gonna hate on me for, but dab culture is dead. It's dying.
Oh,
It's
dude.
away.
Whoa.
If they just
Whoa,
go away,
whoa, bro.
Uh-huh.
Are you bending? Are you bending your cap right now? What are you doing? You got your caps all bent up. Going back to the old school. We're going back. No more flat bill caps anymore, kids. Sorry.
no.
Yeah.
The days of flat brim dab gauntlets are over.
Oh, it's over, bro. Yeah, they're all
Oh.
dying. They're all in like
Well,
a big wook hospital.
I saw this was
With COPD.
somebody who had their lungs all filled with resin.
We had somebody on the show. I think back when I don't know if it was on the show that you were on too, but
Show I was on. This guy was on. He was in the hospital. His lungs were full of fucking shit. He said something about having like a eighth of an inch of resin in his lungs or something like that. I don't know.
Wow.
I'd have to go back and watch the show again, but
yeah, no, that was it. He said like that they actually were all tripping out because they were like. And that was,
that name ring a bell? John Petrie?
yes.
Yeah, I think that's who it was.
Yep, and he listens to the show still, I believe. So,
So yeah, and that was from Dab and Pot.
yep.
Dab cannabis only. And
Yeah.
this guy managed to fuck himself up real good with that.
Hey, we're good at that. That's one thing we can do. That we can fuck ourselves up in
Well,
any
yeah.
situation possible.
Mm-hmm.
Human nature, and that's gonna be no matter what happens in the industry. You're gonna find an idiot who can fuck themselves up, and there's gonna be somebody who figures out a way to take something that's safe and make it unsafe
Uh-huh.
best they can. What did I see the other day? 2 cartridge batteries. It'll hold 2 cartridges.
Yeah, I saw
You
that.
can both at once. Off. Because sucking on one, it's only half as much as sucking on 2.
That's the
Like-
double doser.
Where this is going, I don't know, Adam, but I can tell you that regulators are going to shit and fall back on it because they've been looking for something to hit pot with for quite a while, and you know it.
Yeah, I see it as being the boogeyman at the moment, and it's definitely going to be those guys like the other day who got busted with the 30,000 cartridges, which isn't even that much. I mean, that's like a couple boxes. You know what I mean? That's like 3-4 boxes of carts. You know, and you're like, what, whatever. There's other guys with 1 million in their garage somewhere in the area too, and that'll be the next easy pickings, and it's all poison and killing the kids. And that's the thing, is you can do it proper, but the problem is when people are doing cannabis stuff, a lot of times they're not people who are in the cannabis game at all, and they just want to make something that makes money. And
that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning about how one of the reasons I had to leave is when these people with no cannabis experience whatsoever started like pulling the strings. It became ridiculous. People with, I mean, I sat in on a very fateful meeting in Las Vegas one time where I was sitting across from a guy, and I won't say any names, but he wanted me to figure out a way to make extracts that he could name stuff like Giggle.
Oh yeah, and I remember that. That was
and this and that and the other thing. He wanted me to fine tune the effect on these things, and I told him, yeah, that can be done. That can be done. And at that point, I damn near wanted to slap myself into a bitch hole and say, you fucking whore. So there's that. And this guy obviously had no clue about pot. None whatsoever. He's sitting there. He's a greasy little fucking stub of a dude in a expensive suit. His face is pale white from the pile of cocaine he's been snorting. And he's talking to me about pot. And it's like, dude, where's your tie-dye t-shirt? You know?
Yeah,
Tell me about the last
bro.
time you smoked a tie stick. You know, it just is like,
no, you see, now you're almost at the edge of the lost generation of like, what, tie stick? What are you talking about, bro?
what? Well, what, man? The world would be a better place if there was still tie stick.
I mean, they if it was, most of it wasn't even, in the end of the day, it wasn't even really from there, and half the time people just did that.
Honestly, if we still had tie stick and Quaaludes, I think the world was perfect.
It's the perfect moment in time, wasn't it? I know, it's weird. It's weird how Quaaludes went out when it's like, it's not the hardest recipe for anybody to make, and they were so popular, and then all of a sudden they're just like a whole. Now somehow we're into like really stupid drugs, and that one's just lingering out there.
And then you got that guy, what's his name? Fucking Hamilton.
Yeah.
Hamilton. He goes to South Africa and basically demonstrates to cook.
Yeah. Well,
Names producers and demonstrates to cook. You know.
Yeah, that's the one place you can still get them. They sell them in pills.
Yeah.
And they just smoke them down there. Those guys literally just break off 40s. They just take big 40-ounce beers and break off the fucking bottom, fill that thing up with some weed, and then stick some Quaaludes on top, and just do a couple hits of that, and then they flop around like a fish for a little bit, and then they're like fucking out of it for the next, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, and then they pass
really
out for like an hour.
Wow.
Looks like the Coke bottle is as good as a Roarer 714. I just see that happening.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
So, you know, we're going to. It's already, it's already happening. They're trying to clamp down on solvents and this and that and the other thing. You can't buy clean butane anymore in Oregon or California. You know, if you're just a dude,
right.
You can't get a hold of this, that, and the other thing anymore because if you're just a dude, because it's all set up for industry now. And, you know, they're all afraid of, go boom, whatever. So more and more things are getting consolidated in larger hands. It's not as distributed. It's not as run by people who really care about the finished product and how it actually makes them feel. I mean, the guy sitting up there at the office of the cartridge company who'd never smoked pot in his life, he could give a rat's ass about how you feel when you smoke that cartridge, as long as you keep coming back and buying them.
Well, it's the same problem over. It's always the problem in every sit down that I usually get into when I go into a place and they pitch their whole story, and you're like, wow, real good marketing team, and really good this, and really good that, and really good this. And if you meet the grower, they always have this look of like almost shame on them, because you can just tell that, like, even if the plants look really good, it's because they're just fucking maxed out, salted up, and really like. And they're like, I would normally never do it like this, but they make me do it. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of growing out there so it's the product itself is already fucked before it's ever even gotten to the point of making oil out of it.
You want to take that 7 to 12% hit loss by winterizing your product?
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not going to. Not if they don't have to. Not if nobody's checking, and no lab will even. Man, how frustrating is it when you demonstrate to the freaking lab guy how to check for fat, and he fucking ignores you? How frustrating is it? It's fucking real frustrating. Especially when you slap down the federal guidelines for, how much wax you can inhale in an 8-hour period. But his money was in pesticides, so he didn't want to hear about fat. And that's the story across the labs of Oregon. For a period of time, I was really on a bandwagon. I was going around to the labs of Oregon, really trying to get them on board with lipid testing.
Mm-hmm.
No traction. Zero traction. Doesn't matter what I showed them. I actually brought a candle made of cannabis wax and burned it on a desk. And it was to convince them. I've got a chunk of cannabis wax right now. It's as hard as a hockey puck. It's about 5, 6 years old. It's been aging. About 5 or 6 years old. It's hard as a hockey puck. Feels like Bakelite.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Bakelite plastic is? That's really hard stuff they use for electrical stuff.
Yeah.
Feels like Bakelite.
That would be a great, and that's the thing about cannabis in general. Like that is a great use for it, because Bakelite was one of those things where it's like I had a case made out of it, and it was from 1962 or something like that, and I had it in 2000 or whatever, and carried that thing around for years. Still have it somewhere, but it was like, it does last forever if you want it to, but if you shred it all up and throw it into a landfill, that shit will actually break down, right? I guess it won't.
Well, yeah, it's a phenolic resin, so it doesn't. It's not a really. It's not real durable when exposed to oxygen and sun.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to become dry and crack and turn to powder and go away.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of my long-term experiment with cannabis waxes. I've got this puck of it. It's going to probably outlive me by centuries, but I want to see what it looks like in 20 years if I live that long.
It's like that McDonald's last Happy Meal they have in Iceland, I think it was. They kept it in Iceland. They kicked them out a couple, 10 years ago or something. Like one of the first countries to say "fuck you, McDonald's, get the fuck out." And they kept the last Happy Meal in like a case. At the train station or something like that. And people used to come and look. But then it didn't change. Then 5 years later, 7 years later, 10 years later, it still looks the same. They had to move it. Things changed so much. Like they actually rebuilt the whole place around it, so they had to move it at one point. So yeah, it was kind of funny. It'll be just like that. Some food.
So when I look at that puck of cannabis wax, that's hard as a frickin' rock, that I could barely scratch it with my fingernail at this point. So I look at that. I've got in a filter sitting in my little space in a filter right now. I've got probably 4 cups of pure white cannabis wax that I just filtered out of some stuff that I was working with, and I've been saving it up. I'm gonna think of a use for it. I'm gonna figure out how to market the shit. One thing, it's oriented. It'd make a great surfboard wax.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, for sure, whatever you figure out that it's good for, I'm sure it'll be like the highest quality version of that thing, because that's the thing that's nice about all the hemp shit. Like once you figure out what it like, you'll be like, oh, dude, this is the best in the world. Like it just does that, you know. So yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to figure out something, especially if you can break it down, you know.
well, and that and cannabis wax also makes a very, very great, really, I mean, like a really exceptional shellac when you mix it with like linseed oil. It makes really, really durable, hardcore, stay shiny for years. Hang on just a second. I don't know if you can see that. I did this with cannabis shellac made of cannabis wax like 10 years ago. It's still shiny.
Shiny.
It saved my ass a couple times when I had to beat up a couple of fuckers. And yeah, it's a product. It's a product. It's a safe product for cannabis wax.
Oh, now
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. So we're on a delay. We're like, oh, what, where, what, huh? Yeah, no, it's definitely like I said, whatever you do with it, it is going to be super high quality. Like I'm sure, and like furniture wax in general, like floor wax, you know, expensive as fuck, but especially when you start doing some scale, you can just start.
Well, my end goal is to wax a hemp car with hemp wax.
What's that now?
It's like a dream I've got. You know, Henry Ford's hemp car. I like one sitting in the driveway.
Yeah.
Wax it with hemp wax that I made.
Wax on, wax off.
Exactly. I mean, I've really gotten away from the recreational, intoxicating aspects of the plant, and I'm really focusing on its physical, industrial type properties, skincare properties. Actually, cannabis wax is an actually great ingredient in skincare products.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Especially
kind of like beeswax, like a beeswax.
Yeah, or you know what? It's really good for is diabetic foot care. Because it's an oriented wax, which means that one end is a little bit more polar than the other end, which causes it. You know, in the trichome, the waxes are oriented so that the real non-polar end is on the outside, the more polar end is on the inside. And when you free it up and it gets in the solvent, all that goes to hell. But it remains an oriented molecule. So that means that you can make it stick to things better. That's one of the things that makes it what it kind of is as far as your lungs go. Is because it is oriented, one end is slightly more polar than the other end. One end of that wax is a little bit more likely to be able to stick to your lungs than the other end. And that could be its saving grace, because it's got that tail end wagging off and only one piece of it stuck to your lungs. Maybe that makes it so that you can expectorate it easier.
Right.
But the bottom line is that you know, it really shouldn't be a component in something that you're vaporizing. Now, smoking is a different thing. Smoking, you inhale particulates. It's just a different thing, and your body reacts differently to it. We evolved around smoke. You know, the forest fires as little anthropomorphids. We'd run from forest fires. The smoke would be there. We've evolved around smoke. We had campfires. We sat around smoke. We're evolved to handle a small amount of smoke. Vapor is a different thing. There is no equivalent in nature to vapor. And that's basically where I see one of the larger issues between smoking and vaping is that we've evolved around smoke. Vaping is something that has vaporization in general of anything is new.
Well, in that case, I mean, that would in that regards, if you kind of bring it up that way, then anything smoked in that form, whether it be rosin or whatever, just because of the fact that it's not burned off, it's actually still like in a sublimated sort of form. Then do you think that's just as dangerous?
Well, if I could get a hold of, like, say, 3 or 4 grams of rosin, I could throw
there
it
we
in.
go. I knew that was coming. Boom. People already are
Yeah.
ready to. They're lining up. They were like, let's get your shit tested.
I don't know. I've seen the special tea bags for pressing rosin,
Mhm.
special paper, or is that trapping the waxes and only cannabinoids are leaking out? I don't know. I've never played with enough of it to fuck with it. And no, I've made the only real experience I have with rosin, Adam,
Mhm.
is in the 70s we got pounds and pounds and pounds of Lebanese hash, and it was pressed in cotton bags.
Mhm.
Around the edges of that bag, where it was pressed, would be rosin. And we would get that. We'd think, oh, prize. But, in all honesty, it was really not that much different than the hash.
Yeah.
So that's really the only, background I have with rosin, other than just here, there, somebody offered me a toke of it here and there or whatever. I've never wrecked my wife's straightening iron with.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised at that.
My daughter's not ready to kill me over wrecking her straightening iron. Things like that haven't happened around here. So I just never really. I always thought you go to all that work to make the frickin' dry sift,
Mm-hmm.
and then you fuck it up by fucking sticking it under an iron. I didn't get it. I just never got it. So I guess I just never fell into the dab culture deep enough to just have to dab that hash. I always have been just fine with a spoon and a lighter and sitting out on the back porch and puffing away at that bowl of hash until I'm baked.
Ah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you would think that the smoke would be worse, and everybody was so like when the volcano came out, and before that it was still like super. There was the rush for the perfect vaporizer, and I think in certain conditions it might help people just because they do get a heavy reaction from smoking anything burnt. It's like and it does seem like to kind of ease them in. But do you think that even like a volcano, which has the one thing I do notice on that, like you could use that bag for 2 years and you would have hardly any buildup at all. So
I think vaporizing plant material may have some different qualities than vaporizing other things. I mean, if you know what's in that bag,
mhm.
like you said, it doesn't get real like gummed up and gross. It'll turn a little yellow over time.
Tiniest bit, but like comparatively to like a rig, how much you actually physically see get stuck in there, you're like, ooh, that's like, I had 5 grams, or I bought 5 grams, and 4.2 grams ended up in the middle of my thing because it just gets stuck.
Exactly. And you can, and even vaporizing hash through a volcano, you still don't get that same thick buildup. Mm-hmm. So there's something fundamentally different going on there, and that's where science needs to step up, or somebody who's really interested can set me up in a lab, and I'll go to work for them.
Double pitch. Send me weed. Give me a job.
Give me some instruments.
At this point, I don't compete, and I've got a really bad attitude, so they need to factor that in.
Yeah.
Just leave you alone. Just let you do what you want to do.
At this point, just leave me alone. I'm old now. I'm turned 61.
Well, if you want people to send you stuff, let's do a quick. Give us a quick contact info for you, and then I'm going to do some shout outs, and then we're done with this. We're done with the show at this point. So where can people find you?
You can email me at fr31r3@gmail. That's probably the best contact for me. Because I don't keep much of a social media profile other than just for family.
Did you catch
that? So
fr31r3@gmail.
Can you say your email again?
fr31r3@gmail.
MTI, get together. No, I was. It's good because it's hard to hear, which is perfect because probably half the people that you tell it to, you don't even really need them to get in touch with you, but our people. And I have the same problem. I say Sage Master to people, and I'm sure they all go to Sage Master.
On Facebook, I'm kind of on the edge about, jumping back into having a bunch of cannabis stuff on my wall because, well, to be honest with you, I got kind of a little bit of a butt rash over the way our business is treated by the state.
Mm-hmm.
And, don't look back in anger, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you definitely helped us back in the day and today. Just kind of see the things that might be coming up the road. Who knows? I mean, like you said, there's going to be more people. Things are going to come out, but there's definitely this is the perfect scare tactic, which is the part I don't like, because we're all very anti. I'm sure you too. We're all definitely not listening to when Trump says we're banning vape juice. I'm like, all right, this has got some weird shit written on it right here. So, I mean, from a conspiracy point of view, from a non-medical point of view, I think it's just all pretty much Congress in the pocket of the tobacco companies who are setting it all up for themselves via already lined up corpse. You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
Additive companies that have popped up. Who's behind them?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the money behind these additive companies? That vitamin E was a good idea.
It's a good question.
I don't know. I was
finance these companies. You might get the real surprise.
I wonder though if that was just somebody being stupid, or was it somebody actually promoting it for a cut? Because if it's somebody promoting it, then they need to get.
There was one company that actually promoted it as a thickener, or something like that. Yeah.
So they need to go down whoever they are. Like anybody who's actually told people to go out and do that. Yes, they should be held held liable.
But MCT has been in use for quite a while.
Yeah.
It has been for quite a while, and it's because of the unmanageable nature of cannabinoid resins in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, almost a non-Newtonian fluid. They seem to almost climb out of containers they're in. They are thick. They're sticky. They don't like to behave like other liquids.
Right.
And they don't flow. They don't just, if it was like the thickness of, say, syrup, it would be no thing. It'd go right into a vape cartridge just the way it is. But no, distillate comes out of that distillation system at 300 degrees, and it's still thick. It comes down plop, plop, plop.
Yeah.
It comes down in big ropes. It doesn't come out like water.
Right.
Even at 300 degrees, or say 150 degrees after it goes through the condenser. So it's still really hot, and it's still really thick. And when it cools off, it just gets thicker. So that's not going to work in a vape pen. And so what do they add? They add MCT. They add terpenes so that it doesn't taste like Band-Aids, because pure cannabinoids, when you heat them up, by and large, taste like Band-Aids because they're phenolics.
Yeah.
Band-Aids. Yeah.
So,
well, that's another rabbit hole. We'll go down the Band-Aid rabbit hole in a couple weeks. We'll wait until.
It is a rabbit hole, and I could spend a really long time poking holes in the industry. But I think I've touched on the more profound issues.
Sure, and we can also, like I said, we can follow up in kind of sooner than later, just to sort of keep an eye on the things that you're proposing are going to happen, and see if we get some real time. We'll be like, you are definitely not the father. Father of predictions. Sorry.
Thank you much for this. You gave me the first platform for me to put this warning out.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you did that, I have a ton of respect for you over that.
Well, I mean, it was a scary episode.
You were taking kind of an unpopular position, by having somebody come on and diss the industry the way I did. And the fact that you did it makes me admire you. It makes me think you're a real good guy.
Oh, well, thanks for that. So, well, cool. Let's wrap it up with you and finish our shout outs, and you can hang out with us if you want, or it's been a while, so you can disappear into the ether.
Well, yes. I've got to, my dogs are sitting here looking at me like, when are we going to go pee?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to hang out and listen to me ramble on. It's awesome having you on the show, though. And like I said, we'll have you on sooner than later because, like I said, back in the day when Mitch was on, you were between you and Jeremy Silva, who we had on a few weeks ago. We hadn't had him for a while. You were like our go-to guys because you always bring the knowledge, which is awesome. And I guess you're right so far. I mean, great. Thank you. What else is? We'll find out what's coming down the pipeline in the next show, but I'm sure it'll be as equully horrible, if not worse, and it'll be something some new microbial problem that none of us thought of. No.
Stormcrow.
Some parasite we all have in our brain that we didn't find. Oh, he figured out the parasite. Same old parasite.
It's all good. We're going to die someday of something, and if you get to actually choose what you die of. Yeah. Maybe that's not it.
Let's tell that to the 17-year-old kids who are going to die of fucking nicotine swag. All right,
choose wisely, right? Choose wisely.
Yeah, exactly. Choose wisely. No, for sure, and know your source. That's the most important thing. Like I wouldn't. The only pens I'm smoking are pens made by Squatch or somebody I know who makes some good shit, and it just doesn't do anything. He just pours it in there, and there you go. It's like, all right, that's good.
That's that's actually the only thing you need.
Yeah.
If you could just pour your extract into a pen, you're going to end up safer than somebody who's put adulterants in there. And that's just the bottom.
Hell yeah. And you know how greedy people get, so all right. Go take those dogs out. We'll talk soon.
It was just awesome talking to you, Adam. Just to be able to see your face.
Yeah.
Say hi.
Yeah, no, it's good. We now have, for the moment, we'll see. We have our green screen capability. We'll see how that goes. But it's working out good. Makes us like we're all hanging out.
Yep.
I had a green blanket, but it said Oregon Ducks on it, and I didn't want that floating in the background behind me.
No, you did good. Good job. That's what I say. Almost everybody has this kind of blue color. The green is really hard to find, but that blue is doable in most people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, my friend. Take care.
All right, you too. Thank you for having me.
All right, peace.
Bye-bye.
Yep. And the Vapocalypse continues.
Wow, man, that was heavy.
It was heavy, bro.
That was so heavy.
I survived. I went on tour. We all made it on tour. We did a tour of duty on the Adam Dunn Show. Haven't got to the bottom of it, obviously. Nobody knows. It's a whole bunch of weird...
continued.
To be continued. Dun, 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 dun. We can use those graphics again because it was a great graphics.
Oh, yeah.
I have to tighten it up maybe a little better.
Yeah,
but
tighten it up.
I made it on the phone like 5 seconds before we got on the air, so it was like not the greatest. Move that V over. It drove me crazy the whole time. The V. Why is it so far over?
I know. Same here. That's so funny.
I was like, why didn't he make that V just a tiny bit tighter?
Vapocalypse.
I have a hard time saying it too. I don't know why.
Vapocalypse.
Vapocalypse.
It's Vapocalypse.
Vapocalypse. No,
not
Vapocalypse.
It's not Jimmy Papadopoulos. Hey, it's Terp Tower.
Oh yeah,
Terp Tower, bro.
Oh yeah,
Peter Papadopoulos.
That's where I got that name from.
Yes, Peter Papadopoulos is not that. This is Vapocalypse. All right,
Well,
so
shout out to you. Looks like I got the Mila book.
You got the Mila book.
Yeah.
Finally.
Sweet. It's like a Bible, man.
And then you did what? Now you did a drawing in there, a picture.
Yeah, where's
photo?
the picture?
Find it. I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
kidding.
the one with Nick.
So we were on Build a Soil.
Exactly. Well, we worked on. I think we finished Build a Soil.
We finished Build a Soil, and now
Yeah.
we're on to Green Farms.
Green Farms, yes, exactly. That was the next. Greenfarms.co, if you want to check that out, their website. If you're here in Colorado and you're a medical patient and you want to go check out some actual no-till, properly grown cannabis and have access to that, you can go to their website and check out the address for them. It's greenfarms.co for that, and also they have a grow shop in Louisville. So if you live up near Boulder and you want some good organic inputs, you can go to them. Carry a lot of the products that Build a Soil has that are like the ones that actually people need, like on the regular. They don't even know they need it until they do it. And then their dehydrated cocoa, products like that. You're like, oh,
Wow.
that's nice.
Dehydrated cocoa.
Mm-hmm. All ready to go. Water soluble, ready to go. Plants enjoy it. Feel good doing it. EM5, EM1, all IPM products. You can order them through them, whether it's animals or other things, and you can get custom blends. So I'm back on Build a Soil. Am I still on? Wait.
You're on Green Farms.
I'm on Green Farms. Guys, I started jumping there.
Wow, that was weird.
That was a cosmic thing. Because I said they have all the same stuff as Build a Soil, then I just forgot. I went straight. See, that's what it is. Pavlov's
That's
dog.
what happened.
Build a Soil. I'm sleeping. Someone could probably wake me up and ask me to do it, and I do it. Nail it. But Green Farms, not quite there yet. Working on it. But yes, they do have all those products. They have earthworm castings. They have their own Buffalo products, which is their own in-house brand. So you can get custom blend soils from them too, in a sense, as long as you like what they got, which is their own in-house stuff. But they also have mushroom. They're getting into the mushroom game, looks like, or maybe not. Did they take it off?
They took it off, but I think it's just put into their into it.
I'll double check with them and see.
Yeah,
what's
double
up.
check because
Double
it was
check.
like very prominent
Yeah,
at first, and then now it's
like,
just Green Farms Feed and Seed,
Yep.
Green Farms Soil Company, and then Green Farms Education, Renew CBD Store, and Southside Garden Supply,
Well, there you go. Southside.
Alaskan Hydroponic Supply.
Huh. Okay.
Wow.
Well, now it's getting. See, it's Alaska. So if you're in Alaska, is that really in Alaska or is it
Southside Garden Supply,
in Alaska?
Alaska Hydroponics Supply.
Wow. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Check out the website. Decipher it yourselves.
Yes.
Greenfarms.co. We're gonna get JW on the show at some point soon, also. So we'll get it all. It's so every time I talk to him, it's changed. Things they're rolling so hard. So we shall see what the deal is.
Treasure.
Treasure, yeah, sure. Treasure, sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Barcelona and you want to go check out a nice, cool, chill spot and get the Dunn deal. Oh yeah, Dunn deal's back at the Build a Soil and all that good stuff. Oh no, not Build a Soil. Green Farms.
Oh.
See how bad I am?
Jeez, wow.
Oh, I can't break up the things. I'm already too high. It's useless. All right, so Dunn deal. Anywhere I say.
Barcelona? You're talking about
Barcelona Dunn deal is fucking. This is shit.
This is
I'm just going back and saying
This is a great
don't
done
forget-
deal.
This is a great, it's best done deal ever.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to do anything. Because everyone's like, you're so like, oh.
Well, you have to get to Barcelona, but after that,
Yeah.
you don't have to do anything.
We're not
Done
going to be
deal.
able to do that. Oh, there you're here.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hola.
Happy.
Yes, we're all hanging out. Yep. Where is my? Right now, I would get a really
Where's
nice
the-
coffee.
The moon, the lunar.
No, that'll come.
we'll go back
We'll get
to
back
that.
to
Oh,
that.
okay.
We're in
Okay.
Barcelona now. We're at Treasure. We're hanging out. We just came in. We're floating in the air, and we're above the doorway, and it looks like we're sitting in front of some cool place, but we're not. But it's a dope spot. Got great artwork.
It is a great spot.
They have great artwork, great people, great coffee, great weed. And if you go in there and you hit the door, open up, and the first thing they ask you is for your membership or your anything, you just say, I'm here for the Dunn deal. And then it's like fireworks go off. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You get a door prize.
Not quite that, but it's almost like that. And then Petey comes out, and he's fucking at him, and fucking done deal. And then you have to hear him complain a little bit, but he'll still
hook you up.
He'll hook you up. All of a sudden, be like, "Oh, what joint? Another one?" And then they'll be like, one of the girls who works there, she'll just start rolling joints for you. And you'll be like, "Oh my god, didn't even know."
Just the done deal.
That's a done deal.
Keep it going.
So if you're there, do it, or plan on going there and just doing it anyway. Get some real done deals.
Yep. And we're off to Seeds Here Now.
Seeds Here Now. Yeah, we almost went off the rails again. Seeds Here Now. Go to seedsherenow.com if you want to get the best in seeds from about 40 plus of the best growers here in America. A couple European ones and stuff snuck in there, but for the most part, it's mostly a very American heavy on the breeders. Bunch of classic guys in there. Check out the website. There's some Is he got the BOGO deals going on or what?
I'm looking right now.
I'm sure he's got BOGO deals.
Oh yeah, there's BOGO deals.
BOGO bongo.
Yeah.
BOGO mania.
BOGO.
Mania.
It's
bongo,
it's
BOGO.
Bongos and BOGOs. Just
bonkers, BOGO.
Yeah.
everyone's going bonkers.
Lambo and Cold Creek Kush has a BOGO right now.
Separately, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can't be like double BOGO. That'd be a BOGO reverse. BX BOGO.
Yeah, that only happens in a vortex.
Wow. Yeah.
That's pretty much James. If you get around James, you're in the vortex. I guarantee you that. SeedsHereNow.com, though, they're got their shit together. They've got their site all fucking battle ready. They've gone through so many 15 times getting taken down or something ridiculous.
Oh, dear.
So now, though, shit's tight. Now, 15th time.
Yes.
We got it down. Figured it out.
Yep.
Figured it out. 15th time.
Hell yeah.
Usually about the 15th time. That's about the average. But best service the whole time during that entire time. Didn't matter. Fucking sites down, cost a bunch of money, people running away, doing, fucking shit up. All sorts of bullshit. But in the meantime, you still delivered, backed up. Anybody had an issue, this one didn't do this didn't do that, this said it was this, not like that. Whatever it is, boom, replaced them, took care of them. So
nice.
Service with maybe a half-ass smile, but still a smile. Be like, God damn it. No, but no, for the most part, all you gotta do is deliver good stuff. It's like the first lesson, even though everyone loves to kiss Mark Emery's ass and everything, but he was a classic example of a guy who went around, got everybody's genetics, got everybody all hyped up, and they never came and reordered, but still sold your stuff. So I saw that for years and years and years and years and years and years, to the point where people would always come to me and go, dude, yeah, we smoked some of your stuff. And a lot of times it was like the seeds they bought sucked, but the weed they had at the shop was great. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, that sounds like a classic either bait and switch or just bad selection of whatever. And so they... even when I called, they said their top selling medical strain is sage. So I was like, oh, okay, well that means they must go through a lot of it. And they had bought 8 packs 3 years earlier. So I was like, well, that's not that's definitely not the best selling thing. And then later, when he was in jail for a while, and then the other girls all took over, and they kind of sent guys back around to buy seeds, and those guys were real humble and he kind of, we're here to do it right this time. And then all of a sudden everything started selling great, you know what I mean? And then it was like, oh, well, see how much easier it is to sell good seeds than it is to sell shitty seeds. Like, we sell shitty seeds, you're just setting everybody for bad time. So that's what you don't get. That's easier now. You get the real deal.
Real deal.
And you can talk directly to the breeders on their forum. Just come here if you want to talk to me, because I got no time. This is my forum.
This is my forum here.
My forum. Anyway, yeah.
All right.
You could write something there, but I'm going to answer it.
On to Illuminar.
Illuminar. Get ready at the end of the month, which is, I think, another, 2 more weeks, something like that?
I think 2 weeks, yes.
2 more weeks, we're going to have a giveaway.
Go check out their...
you need some sound effects. Giveaway. Illuminar. Yeah, exactly. All that shit. It's going to be, I believe, 315 ceramic metal halide or something like that. Never know. Now that it's monthly, they have time to think about it.
Yep.
go to Illuminar's Facebook and/or go to their Instagram page actually, and
Instagram page, yes.
and there should be the word of the month there, and
Then
so
write us an email.
and if you haven't already, write us an email. Tell us why you need this light. Oh, I need a light because I'm super lazy and I lay around and eat cereal all day.
info@adamdunshow.com.
You probably won't win it, but but you could say that, or you could be like,
It's for the contest?
yeah, it's every month, once a month.
So write us an email to info@adamdunshow.com why you need a light, and then
Yep.
give us a phone number that we can call you at,
Yep.
and we will
I'm
get
not saying I'm not
Wow.
going to call you if you sit around and eat cereal. It just depends how I'm feeling. Maybe I'm like, this guy needs a light more than anybody because he needs to get up and do something. 'Cause
Tony Baloney's already sniffing out a giveaway.
Tony, come on, Jesus! His whole house is just lit up with lights that he won on different shows and different people. I'm sure.
Probably.
That guy. All right, but yeah, you go to illuminarlighting.com, right?
Yes.
And you can check them out. As far as done deals, if you contact them direct and you want to get some big old numbers of lights, 100% use a done deal. That's like the most ultimate plan ever. Because all of a sudden you're like, you got thousands of dollars off with the done deal.
Hey.
Thousands.
Wow.
I'm not even going to tell you how much.
It's major.
Because I can't say. It's too. It will get them in trouble. No, but in general, they will take care of you if you say you heard about it on the show and you're interested in outfitting your spot. Because your boss just said we're about to buy a bunch of lights, and they're going to buy a whole bunch of ones that they are going to get copies of made from China, and you're going to be like, oh my God, I could have that, or I could have a real light with cool people that'll fucking take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
So just say, no, I think I got a deal. I got the done deal. Yeah, right. That's what I'm telling you. That's it.
Right.
This is the best one right here. This is the best. Treasurer's like.
The destination one.
Destination. Destination. That's our best.
The destination.
That's the destination.
Wow, we just
A
made
best
a word.
destination. A destination.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
destination.
no one's done that. No, but in general, this is our best done deal right here. Could be. The more you spend, the better the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for a couple thousand light deals. So no,
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Even a measly 100.
That's right.
Measly 100
measly
lights.
100.
Make sure to use the done deal. Show our advertisers some love.
Yeah, make them think like, oh my God, you guys killing it. But no, they're the best in the game, and great to have them on board because they're only going to get better, and they cover every single size: LEDs, double-endeds, 315s, ceramic matte holly, 630s, all of the above and more. And yeah, contact them. Say what up. Say you heard about it on the show. And that was it. I think we're done.
Thus concludes the
shout outs and the Adam Dunn Show. Thank you to, let's see, we had just so many people in the studio. We had, yep.
Hey.
Susan hanging in there.
Oh, there's the moon. All right.
Oh,
we
yeah,
got
moon's
the
back.
lunar ending.
And the moon is back, yes. Tonight, go out and watch the full moon on Friday the 13th. Try not to get, in kind of altercations with neighbors or anything because people are going to be pumped up and hyped up.
It's a harvest moon.
And it's a harvest moon. I saw somebody saying it was 11 days away, but no, I've heard it's just a harvest moon. I heard this is it. But I could be wrong. It looks like it. Looks good. It's a good time to harvest, too, because this is like before most people are going to rob you. Which will be coming soon. It's coming soon. This is like the most robbed month because by October, they're definitely robbing in October.
Yeah.
But this is like the most up and coming, I should say, in the robbery department.
Gotcha.
But people are getting wise to figuring out, like, hey, I can steal that shit a little early. Who gives a fuck? Because I'm going to just turn it into extracts anyway.
Right.
No one's going to dry it and sell bud anymore. That used to be the old days where you actually stole weed, dried it, trimmed it, because, people take a whole plant. What are you going to do with it? Nowadays, you just get extracts, make bad pens.
Make bad pens.
Sell them to kids.
Make some fan-ass carts.
Mix it with some fucking benzene or something.
Oh, no.
Some benzene and honey. Skip all the middle ground, just straight up fat and benzene. Yes, perfect. It's going to turn into that anyway. So we might as well just get that shit done. No, it's going to be crazy. So you gotta watch your crops.
Yep. Be careful.
If you're in Colorado next. What is it next?
Next Friday, yeah. Mother's High Tea.
Holy shit! Next Friday, Mother's High Tea. I will be watching Nick.
All right. Well, CC's.
Yes, CC will be out gallivanting.
Sweet.
Yes.
Lovely.
One day. See, the thing is, all our babysitters are all there. They're all the Yep.
Yeah.
they're
Everyone's there.
all the cool chicks. Yeah. All the people that we would trust with our child, except for myself. So yeah, I'll be home making a big mess. So yeah,
Sweet.
keep an eye out for that.
Yep.
And thank Jim for calling in. Thank Jonathan Braver for calling in. Everybody for listening. And see you guys next week. Who the hell knows what's going on?
Ooh.
Something bad.
Take care.
We'll have a body count going. We're gonna start doing a body count with 6 this week at 6.
Wow.
Next week body count. Phew.
Vape deaths.
Vape death body count. Peace, guys.
Bye.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimilla, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.